Comic Timing is member supported by listeners like you over at patreon.com/comic timing. We thank you very much for your continued support of the show. This very episode is being recorded on equipment that was purchased with the assistance of you fine listeners. We have a brand spanking new hard drive installed in my not so brand spanking new laptop in order to continue making this show and make it happen. And that would not be possible without you folks. So thank you very much for your continued support of the show. For as little as $1 a month, you can join in on some behind the scenes access, get some access to some articles, behind the scenes audio, occasional behind the scenes video, whatever we can throw your way. And we thank you very much for your continued support over at patreon.com/comic timing. And if you want to throw a one-time donation my way, paypal.me/IAM sci-fi is how you can do it. Thank you. Hey there, folks. My name's Ian Levinstein, and welcome to 62. It's 62, not 52, but whatever, of Comic Timing. And we are back here once again, and the dynamic duo is back here once again. The one, the only, Adam Murdough joins us for another previews episode. Adam, welcome back, my friend.
Yes, los dos amigos dos previews. Right again.
See. And, of course, as is the case with multiple episodes in the past couple of months, previews-wise, we have some breaking news.
That's a very breaking soundbite.
Thank you very much. So that previews thing that Diamond used to do? Emphasis on the used to, as unfortunately news broke a couple of days back that everyone in the previews department at what is now Diamond has been laid off. So the October edition of Diamond Previews, which should be available digitally sometime within the next couple of days, is the final edition of Diamond's preview catalog. 37 years of comic book previews comes to an end. And I pour a fake 40 out in their honor because I'm not wasting liquid. But it's been a long run, Murd, to say the least.
And this might be the last hard copy of a previews catalog I ever hold. I'm not exactly going to frame it or anything, but I don't think I'll be throwing it away either.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, I feel the same way about this. I felt when Wizard Magazine ended. It had long since been past its prime. Case with Wizard Magazine in particular, 100%. Same can be said for Diamond as well, past its prime. But I was still glad that it was there. I was still glad that it existed in one form or another.
It had its uses. You can't deny.
Absolutely. And I mean, something can be said for being able to quite literally page through a previews in your hand. I mean, it's the catalog era. I mean, there's a reason why Sears lasted as long as it did before it, flamed to the earth in a flaming fury of death. It existed entirely on its catalog. Toys R Us for many years. Another one, Flaming Death, which is now apparently coming back, by the way. They announced, I think, 3 days ago that they're opening up, I think, 10 new stores with the Toys R Us branding on it, as well as some seasonal stores to try to get that brand back and running in the United States. But they had their seasonal catalog. Even Amazon puts out a physical seasonal catalog for toys. Gets delivered to my door whether I want it or not. They come like November-ish. For the past couple of years. So it has its use. It's just, you need staff and you need money. And unfortunately, Diamond ain't got that.
No, sad to say, that is one thing they certainly do seem to lack. Bankruptcy will do that, or that will cause bankruptcy. One chicken or the egg.
Yeah. I mean, the guys who bought Diamond, once again, that is Ad Populum / Sparkle Pop. Great name. Great. Lovely. Sparkle Pop. Just, rolls off the tongue. But they seemed very much more oriented towards the actual distribution itself and not necessarily on obtaining that the product from said distribution. And I don't know how that's going to wind up going forward, especially because a lot of the companies that distributed their stuff through Diamond have since left for greener pastures, whether it be Lunar or whether it be their own independent distribution or Penguin Random House. There's only so much you can do with just a couple of independent, publishers that were still holding on. Yep. Unfortunately, the case. Yep.
But it was nice to have everything in one book, though.
Yes.
Instead, we're going to need to be doing some digital juggling, or at least you will, for yours are the fingers that press the keys that make these things appear.
Yes, indeed. And on that note, just because they're killing the name previews doesn't mean we are. As has been stated multiple times by us on the past couple of episodes, what else do you call an episode like this other than previews? Because we're literally giving you the previews for upcoming comic books. And it's still going to be a 2-month before process, whether it be Lunar, whether it be Diamond, whether it be anybody. So that's what we're going to continue to do here on the show. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy, having books to talk about, and we're just going to have to do it off of, digital versions of catalogs in order to make it happen. And, it's still for the most part a lot of the same publishers that we were talking about. It's just it's going to be a little bit more difficult to go through the Lunar catalog, because not only is it a beast, because it is a beast, but
it's a non-alphabetical beast.
Yes. Oh, well, Penguin Random House is more non-alphabetical than Lunar. Lunar does actually manage to put together alphabetical. It's a little harder to realize what page you're on because they're way less consistent about it than Diamond was. More of the Marvel model of like, well, we'll put a page number when we feel like it, to remind you of where you are. And also, I've said this before, Lunar, your catalog is over a gigabyte. It doesn't have to be over a gigabyte. Like you're killing computer resources every single time you open up that catalog on a somewhat ancient computer. Like the sucker I'm using here, like I've been using on for at least 9 years or so now, and it's hanging on. But there's a reason I go catalog by catalog now when I open up Adobe. It's because like it will kill my resources, and I do not want that. So, well.
Well, I mean, you were here in Stone Harbor a little while ago. You saw what I'm working with at the house.
Oh, yes. Yep.
It would not come close to opening that file.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. On a related note, it was quite lovely to make the sojourn. And I fought George Washington Bridge traffic on a Sunday to get home just so I could hang out with you for a couple hours, Murd. And it was a damn fine good time. So absolutely, and happy to have that back on the calendar.
Yep, we're thrilled to have you every time you come in, and maybe next time we'll get to meet the missus.
Yes, indeed. Yep, that would be nice. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and get things started here. And we are going to start off with Image like we tend to do on this in its own individual catalog. Which, again, although this is part of other catalogs, it's just way easier for us to go catalog by catalog as much as possible until we get to the ones that are too small to actually have their own catalog. And this is issue 11 of the Image Scene catalog for books scheduled to ship in November. And we begin with an old friend. It kind of fits like a glove, doesn't it? Lots of gloves and lots of pockets.
Yes, a very highly antagonistic group of friends. And they're glaring at us.
Youngblood's back.
Funny that it comes up here because I have actually been thinking about Youngblood a good bit lately.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I'm scheduled to do a guest shot on our friend Eamon Clark's Mega City Book Club podcast.
Ah, very nice.
Talking about, of all things, and this is a little outside the normal purview of the Mega City Book Club, which usually focuses on British comics either from 2000 AD, to which everything always comes back, or at least created by the creators who've worked for 2000 AD. But we're doing something that still fits those parameters, but it's a Youngblood-related story.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
And probably because Rob Liefeld didn't write it, a better one than this one, I'm sorry to say.
You're probably right. You're probably right. I'd say that's 95% possible, just from the description alone of this. So, yeah.
Yes. I'll also throw in that Alan Moore is the one who wrote it, so...
Ooh, okay. All right.
So, yeah, Alan Moore versus Rob Liefeld. I mean, whatever you may think of Rob Liefeld's abilities as a writer, Alan Moore is probably going to top him.
Yep. Or as he likes to be called on movie projects, the creator. But story and art by Rob Liefeld on this one. So those of you who were mourning that Liefeld would not be doing art for Marvel properties anymore, here he is with art on a brand spanking new Youngblood with The Blood is Back. As Rob Liefeld returns to write and draw the comic that started it all, the team is summoned to a crisis in the Pacific as a mysterious vessel appears and a deadly nemesis is revealed. A nuclear vessel. I don't know. Hopefully it is. Youngblood #1, 2025. They have to make that perfectly clear. Available for you on page 1 of the Image catalog. No feet on this cover. None. 0 feet.
Just avoiding the issue. In fact, I don't see a single foot on any... Oh, yep. Yes, I do.
Yep. There you go.
Cover H.
Yep. Cover H is the first time we see feet. Oh, and look at this. In some of the preview images, we see weird Liefeld legs all over the place. Say what you will about Liefeld, I at least appreciate that he draws his anatomy like the G.I. Joe figures that I grew up with, like the ones with like the rubber band. Because that is exactly what they look like, with like the square crotch and the weirdly proportioned legs. That's absolutely where Liefeld draws his inspiration. It has to be.
You can almost see the articulation seams at the thighs of the Die Hard there.
Absolutely. Yep. Meanwhile, for something that we will probably both enjoy significantly more, on page 4, Robert Kirkman and Mark Englert bring us Capes, long out of print and very in demand, representing Robert Kirkman and Mark Englert's corner of the Invincible Universe, known as Capes. And this, if I remember correctly, I think I had the individual issues of this when it was originally out. And this is now a full reissue of this. It has been long since out of print. Bolt, Kid Thor, Knockout, Captain Cosmic, Clairvoyant, great name, Big Brain himself, and Captain Capitalism bring forth the team behind this as they take on threats like Machine Head and Titan in the Invincible Universe's New York City. Capes #1.
Yeah, I've been working my way through that giant Invincible Compendium #1.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
yes,
I know I've seen these characters, like the lady with the boxing gloves and Kid Thor there with his big hammer. I know they've been in crowd scenes in various issues of that. So, yep, we are definitely in the Invincible universe here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Machine Head has been a villain that had a lot to do with Invincible at multiple times, and has recently been featured in the animated series as well. So that's a villain that will be familiar to Invincible fans all over the place. And the artwork in this is remastered, and it's the type of remastering that just really just like spruces up the coloring in a positive route here. You could tell like. Digital coloring is certainly advanced over the years, but it's just it is literally retouches. Like it's just like changes in shading and some different choices. That's really, in my opinion, actually spruce up the artwork in a very positive route. So very cool. Yep.
Yeah, some panels more extensively spruced than others from the looks of it.
Very much so. Yeah. Yep. Some coloring changes, actual colors of outfits changed a little bit, but that main first panel here in particular, you can see the changes in the lighting source definitely is apparent, as is the flame itself, a little bit more flamey in the remastered version than in the original.
And the cop cars and that little gap in the energy off to the left have been redrawn completely.
Yep. Yeah. Well, either way, looks like it could be pretty cool here. And yeah, more Invincible stuff from the past coming to the present. I'm looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the return of Die, a Kieran Gillen series that is making its way back here on page 6 of the Image Catalog, with Stephanie Hans at his sidecar doing the artwork for this. A epic new story of dark fantasy adventure gone horrifically right or wonderfully wrong, depending on your preference. And the first Die series came out a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed what I did read of it. And Die Loaded continues that same premise with a brand new story and moving things forward a little bit here. And really appreciate the artwork on this. It's realistic in the right way, not in the like hyper realistic way, but I like the way the faces are being drawn, and the use of shadow and all that is very apparent. So good stuff here out of Die on page 6, and then the quick start edition of the Die role playing game is available for you on page 8. So if you want to play some Die yourself, you can certainly do so. Get your 20-sided die ready and willing. All right. Speaking of creators that I appreciate, Tyler Kirkham brings us Final Boss #1. He's both writing and drawing this, along with David Miller and Ifan Noor. And this is Tyler Kirkham, who's worked on Amazing Spider-Man and Green Lantern before. This is Tommy Brazen, otherwise known as Final Boss. Get ready for an over-the-top adventure that's high-octane nod to classic action stories. Trying to forge a new path, Tommy uses his newfound powers for various paid enforcer gigs and street fights, only to uncover a past more complex than he ever imagined.
Okay, so this is kind of a supervillain story.
Yeah. Yep, it certainly seems like it is the case, yeah.
Usually on board for those. And there is a variant cover by our friend V. Ken Marion.
Ah, very nice. Yep. And I could easily see in my head Jean-Claude Van Damme playing this character if this was in the 90s. Just even looking at the general design of the guy. He's got Van Damme hair, damn it. Once again, page 10 for Final Boss. And because we're approaching that time of year, I Saw Santa, a Spawn Universe Christmas story. because you demanded it.
No, this is nothing I requested by name. But at least it's not Santa Claus who's out there killing people in this one. He's just kind of looking surprised and upset. This is a story about a kid who wants to take vengeance on Santa Claus, and so goes around killing people. Because Santa is generally against that, depending on who's interpreting the character. So yes, Sam and Twitch from the Spawn universe seem to be on the case here, and Spawn himself is the only one that can put an end to it.
Yep. And it'll take 2 issues to tell this story. So Chris Killen and Andrew Sanders, along with artwork by Thomas Nachlik, bring us this 2-issue mini, available for you on page 12, just in time for Christmas. There's eyes in that bowl. There are eyes in that bowl.
And in the glass. Yeah, that's a lot of eyes.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
A lot of ocular orbs. Yeah. Well, you can stuff somebody else's stocking with that, and I'll be expressing the same sentiment about several other quote-unquote Christmas comics we see along the way here.
I'm sure. Yep.
Sadly, I saw. Now, granted, this is previews for November, so there's still another month for publishers to get their act together and publish something a little more in the spirit of the season. But I'll mention it when we get to it. I found only one Christmas comic in this issue of previews that I would actually order.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, a one-shot by Wes Craig available this month with some excellent artists behind it. Nathan Fox, James Harron, Mike Huddleston, Declan Shelby, and Ryan Stegman all along for the ride here as we get a jam-packed special for Colossal Kaya. A story, 48 pages in the making, It's an exclusive single issue, not to be collected in trade paperback. It includes a 6-page intro to the series, perfect for new readers.
What would be nice is a few words of intro in this solicitation to tell us what Colossal Kaya is actually about.
Yeah, exactly. They do certainly tell us that volumes 1 through 4 of Kaya are offered again, but they don't actually bother to tell us what Kaya is about. So you got to already know in order to play the game, apparently. And those of you who do, enjoy on page 13.
Yep, have at it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this might be for Shane. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 26, Hama Files edition. This is the secret origin of Snake Eyes. One of the most demanded G.I. Joe issues of all time, back for a special new printing featuring 2 of the most popular characters ever, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. So every Hama Files edition will feature a special letter from Larry Hama himself, offering new behind-the-scenes info and special insights into the most iconic issues of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. And they do that here for issue 26 on page 14.
Yep, I'm sure Shane is paying attention. Speaking of Shane, if he were with us, he'd probably still be mooning over your mention of Sears going down in flames.
Oh, yes. Most definitely the case, yeah. Yep. All right, we get a resolicit here for the Impact Winter Evenfall one-shot by Travis Beecham. So any of you guys who did order this the last time it was solicited, here it is again. And this is a Skybound Image production here, available on page 15. If you had it once, have it again, because it is available one more time on page 15.
Yep, it's a tale of Cold War espionage. So if you're into that, give it a try. Oh, and here's something that I thought we'd seen the last of, actually, on page 17. It's the 6th issue of Assorted Crisis Events, which is kind of an anthology series of stories of life in worlds that are spatio-temporally variable. The kind of chaos that erupted in the pages of Crisis on Infinite Earths, for example, with dinosaurs and spacemen stalking the city streets together, everybody confused, nobody knowing what's going on, time is in flux. That happens in every issue of Assorted Crisis Events, and it's sort of stories about how average folk cope with all of that. Yep. And I thought it was just going to be a 5-issue miniseries and done, but here it's described as a hit ongoing series.
Okay.
Denny's Camp and Eric Zawadski. Eric Zawadski.
Yep. Well, good. I guess there's enough Crisis files out there that want more Crisis events in their life to make it an ongoing, and I think it's well deserving of the title. And now that it's its 6th issue, that means that there will be a trade available before we know it. So anyone can go ahead and catch up on this in time for it to be an ongoing series. So good for Denise Camp there, and good for more Crisis, and good for more people putting both of their hands on their faces and saying, "No, the end is coming! Whoa!" Page 17 for that. All right.
A lot of ongoing things now.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Creepshow gets issue 3 of its volume 4 of the continued ongoing anthology of Creepshow. There on page 20. And as we get further along, Department of Truth reaches its 35th issue. James Tynion IV and Scott Snyder continuing their Department of Truth epic. And now we've reached the 35th issue of this now long-running series on page 24. Nice milestone there for it to hit. Exquisite Corpses, just really like saying that, reaches its 7th issue here. Michael Walsh and James Tynion IV again, available on page 27. And Feral gets its 18th issue here. Tony Fleecs continuing his animal story, to say the least. With Trish Fornster, Tony Rodriguez, and Brad Simpson, along with the artwork chores there for this 18th issue on page 19.
It's a kind of zombie survival horror with animals.
Very cool. We get our first long-standing story arc here in G.I. Joe, the beginning of the Dreadnought War, part 1 of 5. In the Energon Universe version of G.I. Joe, Joshua Williamson, art by Tom Riley and Jordi Belair, continue to have excellent artists along for the ride here with this G.I. Joe series. As the Dreadnought War begins, when Cobra Commander is betrayed by one of his closest allies, he's targeted for revenge by the Dreadnoks. But in his darkest hours, the only one who can save Cobra Commander is Duke? What? That's not supposed to happen. He's a Joe. Well, we'll find out why on page 29 here in G.I. Joe issue 13, beginning of the Dreadnought War.
I'm kind of proud of myself that I know enough about G.I. Joe to know that this is not a usual occurrence.
Yep. And issue 14 also solicited for this month on page 30. The first appearance of a fan favorite character is in this. Please be CoverGirl. Please be CoverGirl. Please be CoverGirl. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But they make enough toys of her. She's got to be in there somewhere. So
one would think.
Yep. And Hama's G.I. Joe, the A Real American Hero, reaches its 322nd issue on page 31. One of the few comic books that can safely say it still has its original numbering across like 4 different companies. So there you go.
Yeah, I do tip my my flak helmet to them for that. Okay, can we go back up to Geiger for a sec here?
Yes, we can.
Because, another guest shot I did not too long ago was on our friend Mike Atchison's Comic Shop Roadshow.
Yes.
And, in the back half of that episode, we did a talk about the Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Junkyard Joe, which is a part of the Unnamed universe. And it featured a quick glimpse of the character who's now in Geiger number 20 being introduced in full, the Northerner.
Ooh, nice.
A serious Union soldier who tramps across time and now encounters Tariq Geiger in issue 20 of his comic. It's another member of the heroic lineage of the Unnamed.
Nice. You also just reminded me I have a manga that I really need to read so that I can guest on Mr. Atchison's show. So, yeah, gotta get my ass to reading that. It's been renewed like 4 times from the library already. All right.
Well, I'm glad your turn is coming up.
Indeed. Cannot wait. Speaking of turns, Hornsby and Halo reaches its 12th turn. Issue 12 of Peter Tomasi's story here, which means another volume of that will be coming as well on page 36. And Lazarus reaches its 6th issue, the conclusion of Lazarus Fallen. Greg Rucka and Michael Lark finishing it out. Marisol was forced into a deal with the devil when Malcolm pulls her back into service. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. In the desert of North Africa, Sonia Bittner and Forever Carlisle once again meet in battle for the final time. You Lazarus fans have a very important issue to read.
Because when Rucka says that something is happening for the final time, you can believe it.
Yep. Not the type of guy who goes back to stories very often. So, and the Power Fantasy by Kieran Gillen reaches its 13th issue on page 43. Radiant Black issue 39, also available to us there. Whole lot of ongoings, whole lot of stuff already mid-storyline in Image this month, so I think we're heading down to the trades. Although Transformers number 26 has to be mentioned just for the Robert Kirkman, Dan Mora of it all. This is their 2nd issue together, and I'm sure that's going to be some great Transformers stuff.
No doubt. I mean, not Daniel Warren Johnson's a tough act to follow, but I think these gentlemen are up to it.
Absolutely. All right. Down we go to the trades.
Walking Dead. All
the Walking Dead. Blackheart Billy 25th anniversary. Rick Remender, Kieran Dwyer, and Harper Jayton bring us a 25th anniversary hardcover. Limited edition to 1 printing only. After decades in comic book exile, the absurd skate punk cult classic Blackheart Billy returns, celebrating 25 gloriously questionable years of terrible choices, filthy living, and a long-forgotten punk rock ideology all wrapped up in the last thing it deserves, a fancy hardcover.
Yeah, that isn't very punk, it's true. Fancy hardcovers.
Yeah.
Yep, this is apparently some very early work from Rick Remender, so if you're a fan of the stuff he's been doing in the last decade or so, just check out one of his juvenilia here.
Yep. The design for Blackheart Billy, you could easily say this was a Doom Patrol comic, and I would believe you.
Good call.
Yep. But
Very close deal there.
Indeed. Yep. But yeah, Blackheart Billy 25th anniversary hardcover available for you there on page 63. Only $29.99 for 144 pages of hardcover action. Not bad. Aubrey Sitterson's Free Planet gets its volume 1 collection here. Collects the first 6 issues on page 65.
It's a very attractive cover.
And Kurt Pyre's Lost Fantasy also receives a volume 1. That collects the first 4 issues of that. We are long past the world of volume 1s of Image being $9.99 on a regular basis. As this one is 144 pages for $16.99, and it's only 4 issues. So,
Alas.
Yep. Oh well.
Yeah, a few years ago, you're absolutely right. That would have been bargain priced at $9.99 to draw you in at the ground floor. Oh, and here's one. Oh, this is a compendium, though.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
So that's a lot more than just 4 issues, but still, it amounts to it's 544 pages for $40.
That is much more reasonable, and this is stories once again from the Invincible Universe. Tech Jacket is another one of Kirkman's earlier works that was right around the time that Invincible was coming out. This was another story within it, and it's kind of like Iron Man meets Shazam in that way. So almost similar to the way Radiant Black is with its setup of something finding a person and they wind up becoming more than what they once were. Little Green Lantern-y, a little bit of Captain Marvel in there, a little bit of Iron Man, all rolled into one package. That's basically Tech Jacket for you. And Robert Kirkman, along with Aubrey Sitterson and Joe Keating, bring this together. And this includes not just Tech Jacket 1 through 8, but also Tech Jacket Digital 1 through 3, and the 2014 Tech Jacket series, all 12 issues of that, in one collection here on page 68. And then Matthew Rosenberg's We're Taking Everyone Down With Us in trade paperback collects the first 6 issues of that there on page 70.
Yep, about a young girl coming to terms with her father's James Bond supervillain legacy.
I'm sure Mr. Eberly would be mentioning the Criminal Volume 9 Bad Weekend trade paperback available, Brubaker and Phillips, on page 73 here, putting that back into print for everybody to check out. So any of you Criminal fans, get that in your cart. And then G.I. Joe Volume 2 of Williamson's story available for you on page 74. And that is only $16.99 for 136 pages. So, yeah. That's what happens when the price of paper goes up. That's what happens when the price of paper goes up. And we're on volume 12 of the new editions of Invincible. Once again, these are the smaller frame 6x9 editions of Invincible. This is 152 pages of Invincible action, collecting issues 66 through 70, and Invincible Returns number 1. Available there on page 78. I believe it's next previews where they'll be officially putting into there a new compendium of Invincible that's being put out, which will actually include the Marvel 2-in-1 issue that has long since been out of print. It's available on Marvel Unlimited, but that was written by Robert Kirkman, and it's a crossover between Invincible and Spider-Man.
Yep, published by Marvel, and I just I read my copy this summer, actually.
Yep. Yeah, it fits right smack dab in the middle of an Invincible arc as well. Like, I mean, you've literally
cross-time battle with Angstrom Levy, I believe.
Indeed. Yep. Absolutely. And Monstrous hits its 10th volume, issues 55 through 60, collected in that edition there on page 82. And speaking of Redcoat, volume 2 of Redcoat available, Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch. Collects issues 8 through 14 of the Redcoat series on page 83.
And there's the aforementioned Northerner on the cover there. So I guess this month's issue of Geiger isn't his first full-length appearance.
Yep.
But you can probably read it in that trade, though.
More than likely, yep. And Dan Warren Johnson's, I believe these are his final issues of Transformers before the Kirkman takeover. This is Dan Warren Johnson's conclusion in Transformers Volume 4, Conquer and Control, on page 84 there.
Mm-hmm. Issues 19 through 24, and Kirkman took over at number 25.
You are correct, sir. Yep. And then Void Rivals Volume 4 on the next page there, page 85, and that closes out the Image catalog. So on we go to a different catalog. And you know what? Let's roll over to IDW, shall we?
Why not?
Okay. The world's our oyster now. We get to pick and choose which ones we choose when, because they're all separate catalogs. So there you go. And
spin the compass and go where it points.
Indeed. This month, and get out of here, AI. Nobody needs you. All right, here we go.
Amen.
Yep. This month, if Raph were feeling a little bit more up to it, he would most definitely be opining over this particular story here, as it is both of his favorite loves together in one comic. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Godzilla #1, with story by Tim Seeley and art by Pharaoh Pei. Available here on page 3 of the IDW catalog. The heroes in the half shell are taking on the king of the monsters. Long before the organization was corrupted by Shredder, the Foot Clan's original purpose was to save Japan from kaiju. That's some retcon at its finest right there.
Very interesting angle.
Yep.
And on top of that, it would seem Shredder himself is looking to create some human kaiju mutants.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Yep.
Drop and Rocksteady are going to be out of a job pretty soon if that happens.
Yep. I hope we wind up getting like a 50-foot tall Reja out of this. That would be fun. But yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Godzilla #1 for all the Rafts in the world, and probably you, available on page 3. We also get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus by Tom Waltz and the Escorza brothers. As the raddest TMNT event of the decade kicks off here. One of the turtle. Yeah, we'll see. Look, of the decade. There really haven't been a lot of turtle events this decade, so we could probably.
Oh, right, fair enough. But it's one of a trend I'm noticing, and you'll see what I mean as we move our way through the catalogs here of just events by these publishers are just taking all the characters and throwing them into combat with all the other characters and calling it a series.
Look, I've done that too. I take my action figure, you battle to the death, and then fight. It's basically just that in comic form. It ain't nothing wrong with that. Battle of the Champions, am I right? Come on,
In moderation, I suppose, but it's
I know. Yeah, when they're happening all at once, it's like, oh, it's the new zombie trend. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, this is. Yep. When one of the turtles' closest allies is taken hostage by a mysterious adversary, the brothers are drawn into a new dimension of adventure in the Battle Nexus, which is totally not like anywhere else, devoid of anywhere but a couple pieces of land that have happened before. This is no Secret Wars. This is the Battle Nexus. Blistering 5-part weekly series finds the Ninja Turtles fighting for their lives in a martial arts challenge unlike anything they faced, with 4 deadly champions selected from across 40 years of TMNT history media to destroy the Ninja Turtles. That's what I like. That's what I appreciate about it, is that they're going through all the history and finding different characters, some of which we may not have seen in a while. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm just kind of burned out and cynical because I reread Countdown Arena this summer.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But that's what's kind of put me in mind of this kind of thing and in a sour mood against it.
We call that the bad DiDio years. Yep.
Kinda, yeah. And honestly, Countdown Arena wasn't as bad as I remembered it, but it was kind of the same thing we're seeing here. It was like lots of different Supermen, lots of different Batmen, taken from different parallel Earths within the 52-ply multiverse that existed back then. And they're kind of doing the same thing here. They're sampling different Turtle characters, hero and villain, from different iterations of Turtle reality from different media.
Yep. Well, could be a lot of fun. Hopefully it ain't poo, and it's available on page 4. And then page 5 has the second issue.
And then page 6 has the third issue.
And then page 7, all right, fine. They're all available this month, so do check it out. All 5 issues available up until page 8. So, yeah, good times. I do like that they're doing Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in comic book form, as I really like that movie, and the animated series is a lot of fun too, and the second issue of that available there on page 10 for any of you fans. And volume 6 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures, available from Eric Burnham, collects issues 17 through 20 of that particular series there on page 13.
Yeah, I'm glad that is ongoing, because it is actually a lot of fun here and there for those of us who are old enough to remember the Turtles' first cartoon.
Oh, absolutely. This is really cool what they're putting out here. Also, damn, I'm old. Teenage Ninja Turtles original motion picture special edition 35th anniversary. Oy vey. Eastman and Laird. This is the adaptation of the movie, essentially, and this is being put together here. The 1990 TMNT movie in comic book form, available for you on page 14 in a nice snazzy hardcover edition. Right, as we get a little bit further down, Starship Godzilla. Raph mentioned this last previews episode, and it's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's Godzilla in space.
Meow, meow, meow. And of course, King Ghidorah, a.k.a. Monster X, a.k.a. lots of other things. Mm-hmm. He's a spacefarer himself. Of course he's going to show up in this series.
Oh, yeah. I also appreciate the cover, the variant cover that's definitely a Neon Genesis Evangelion send-up on the bottom left corner there of the solicitation. So, Yep. Do check out the second issue of this crazy-ass series for you on page 16. And the ongoing Kaisei-era Godzilla series reaches its 5th issue there on page 17 as well. And the Godzilla Library Collection, putting together a whole bunch of different Godzilla stories from over the years on page 20. Yes, baby. 3rd issue of Street Sharks. It happened. I willed it into being. I completely willed it into being. And there you go. So Philip Murphy and Stephanie Williams. If it's an IP, IDW will try to obtain it, and boy, oh boy, did they, on page 22. I do like that this is coming out. This is the second issue of this. We mentioned the first issue last month as well. The Twilight Zone, issue 2 by Tom Scioli. Story and artwork by Tom Scioli. Yep.
Yes. Was the first issue also written and drawn by Scioli, or is it going to be a different creator or creative team each issue?
That's a good question. I will have to confirm that, actually, but I think it might be just Scioli. Let's see, Twilight Zone number 1.
He's an excellent choice, if so.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, actually, I believe it is different. I think it might be different people each time. Hold on, let me confirm this one way or the other. IDW. Of course, rather than it actually give me the title, it gave me a whole bunch of reviews of it. So now I got to figure that out. Yes, the first issue was by Dan Waters and Morgan Beam. So it is a different creative team each time out, which makes sense for Twilight Zone. Get a whole bunch of different creators to take their stab at the Twilight Zone format. So. Yep.
Yes, and if we can believe our eyes, it appears to be in black and white, which is also a nice touch.
Yep. At the farthest reaches of the galaxy, beyond the horizons of humanity and the hopes for salvation, a starship of slumbering astronauts journeys in search of intelligent alien life. They left behind their families, their planets, their pasts, and all the traumas and comforts those things contained. But our crew of adventurers will find their paths are never that far behind them, and intelligent alien life has its own plans for their future in the Twilight Zone.
Thank you, Mr. Serlingstein.
Thank you very much. Try the deal.
In all seriousness, that was a good read.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I will be reading that in that voice every single time I see a solicitation for the Twilight Zone, because it has to be done. It has to be done.
All right, I completely agree. I will try to hold you to that, in fact.
Yep, page 24 for that sucker right there. Monsters We Make, Volume 1, by Corey X. Kenshin and Corey Mikkel, with art by Andrew Gong. Jabari is a new student at New Eden Academy, a school for gifted children born during the Eternal Night, a mysterious event that plunged the world into darkness 17 years ago. Well, doesn't that sound delightful? While at school, Jabari and his friends stumbled into a web of horrors involving classmates, murders, and a series of unexpected mysteries. So this is volume 1 of that, with volume 2 and 3 coming soon, available for you there on page 26. Definitely some manga style action here out of IDW. Oof. Oh, look at that. Look at that cover. Look at that cover for Star Trek The Last Starship.
Oh, that looks like Francesco Francavilla.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and sure enough it is.
You are indeed. Yep, with a story by Kelly and Lanzig, with art by Adrian Bonilla. This is in the wake of a cataclysm known as the Burn. The dream of a united federation stands on the brink of extinction. The only thing holding the galaxy back from chaos is Captain Sato and the crew of the Borg-enhanced Omega, a ship fueled by transwarp technology and fraught with distrust. No one on board trusts the Borg, and Captain Sato trusts their mysterious new passenger, bearing the face and name of James T. Kirk, even less. Yeah, this is so Star Trek. It hurts in all the right ways, and taking place during the Burn, so during the Discovery era of Star Trek, but also throwing James T. Kirk in there for the heck of it, on page 28 there. Yep.
Only in comics.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And a red shirt has never looked deader on the cover for issue 5, the final issue of Star Trek Red Shirts by Mr. Cantwell.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like two things that Mr. Eberly is probably buying.
Indeed. Yep. Page 29 for that. And continue to appreciate that they are literally continuing Star Trek Voyager from Jump, like straight up. This is what happened after the final episode of Star Trek Voyager aired. This is continuing it from there, and Star Trek Voyager Homecoming issue 3 by Susan Bridges and Tilly Bridges, along with Angel Hernandez and the artwork there on page 30. Lower Decks reaches its 13th issue, full arc, connected cover. It's time for a long overdue second contact with the species with whom the USS Cerritos made its first contact, the Lapirians. But when the crew arrives on Lapuria bearing gifts, Freeman and company are shocked to discover the entire planet has been abandoned. While all the dwellings and infrastructure remain, there isn't a soul to be found. Where have all the Lapirians gone? And do the Laporians on the planet next door know anything about it? Yep. We will find out on Star Trek Lower Decks issue 13 on page 31.
This, too, sounds like a very Star Trek sort of mystery.
Indeed. Yep. And
there's the solicit for the next issue here.
Yep. Both of those coming out in the same month there on page 31 and 32. All right. Let's see if there's anything else worth a while here. Yes, I keep forgetting that Top Shelf is also mentioned in IDW. So, where there's smoke, there's dinner. Confessions of a Cartoonist Cook. Jennifer Hayden, thank you very much. A book made for me. Bursting with color, flavor, and messy emotions, this unprecedented graphic memoir and anti-cookbook blends comics with satirical recipes to explore the intersections of food, feminism, frustrations, and family, and probably a couple of other F words along the way.
Yep, I can guess which ones. And, this is something my mother might actually enjoy. She's always been a pretty resentful household cook, too. She's a lot better at it than Miss Hayden appears to be, though. She's never needed a fire extinguisher, but...
Yep.
But she's always kind of hated cooking, and I think she might enjoy the kind of vitriol that Miss Hayden is flinging around on the pages of this comic.
Yep. I'll also have to let Chris Naudus know, as for a while I know she was collecting comic book cookbooks, so this might be up her alley as well. So, page 38 there, Where There's Smoke, There's Dinner, Confessions of a Cartoonist Cook by Jennifer Hayden. Really like the illustrations on the following pages to preview it all, so very nice.
Yep, I might consider getting a copy of that for my mother for Christmas, except she has shown to have difficulty, or at least difficulty in reading, or at least reluctance to read comics. It's like she never really learned how.
Fair enough. It's one of those things you're either born to read or born to be about. So it's all good. Yep. And just a note, yes, there are Valiant comics this month. They're all ongoing, so I'm skipping it. So there's nothing IDW / Valiant to discuss this particular month. But onward we go to Titan, and there'll be plenty of stuff to discuss there. And Conan right on the cover for this one, so I'm sure he's going to be all over the place. And I'm very curious as to what this Days of Future Past send-up is here on the incoming page, but I will find out soon enough.
Some kind of Doctor Who.
Yes, indeed. Yep. That's exactly what it's called, actually. Some kind of Doctor Who. No, Doctor Who, The Prison Paradox, #1. This is includes a cover A and variant foil cover by Jay Anacleto. Experience a Doctor Who adventure like no other as the Doctor, Belinda, and an unlikely team of allies infiltrate a prison holding monsters and villains from across the cosmos. Right there on the first issue there first page, that is, of the Titan catalog, and a further solicitation for it further down. They didn't bother to put page numbers in this, so I'm going to say it's page 7. Oh, I'm sorry. That's an entirely different Doctor Who book on page 7, so go figure. That one's actually Doctor Who: The Prison Paradox by Dan Waters and Sammy Cavella. So you've got your choice of Doctor Who books to choose from this month.
What was the last one called?
Was it not called? Was it called something else? Oh no, it is. Never mind. Okay, this is what happens when you're on 6 hours sleep. But
well, in fairness to you, it's a pretty confusingly laid out catalog.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. Yeah. All right. Well, either way, Doctor Who: The Prison Paradox. Apparently, the paradox is whether or not it's called the Prison Paradox, and the answer is yes, it is. And the real solicitation is on page 7. Please don't do that again, Titan. My brain can only handle so much. Thank you very much. All right. Moving forward a little bit more in here. Man, they spend a lot of time on this particular one here, but a brand new Conan story arc starts now in Conan the Barbarian at number 26 by Jim Zub as usual, and Fernando Dagnino on the artwork chores. It's the King of Aquilonia has gone mad, or so the rumors say. A tyrant sits upon his throne, and all will suffer until he's deposed or dead. And Conan the Mercenary cares nothing for these royal rumors and petty politics, but the Cimmerian's skill in battle is about to pull him in the path of a mad monarch, and his life will be forever changed. Brand new story arc there in number 26 on page 13 of the catalog. We also get a new Savage Sword of Conan a couple pages later on page 18 by Liam Sharp and Ron Mars. One and only Ron Mars bringing himself to Savage Sword of Conan, along with Liam Sharp and Danny Earls on the artwork chores. All right, what are we up to now? We're up to issues 174 through 194 and Conan the Barbarian Annual number 10 and 11 from what used to be the Marvel series of Conan the Barbarian, and now is the same cover without the Marvel logo on it for Conan the Barbarian, the original comics omnibus, volume 7.
Far enough forward in time now that big banner across the top that says Conan Comics Group on it is no longer necessary. So they must have penetrated to the 80s here. And, oh, look, there's some stories in here written by Christopher Priest back when he was still known as Jim Owsley.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. With the artwork by John Buscema, Alfredo Alcala, and Ernie Chan, along with for good measure here. Also a Don Carr story in there. Good stuff.
First half of Priest's legendary run. Oh, God, I had no idea he ever wrote Conan.
Look, anything is legendary if you call it legendary. So it's so legendary you didn't even know it existed. There you go.
It's the legend writes itself. Though it does kind of make me wonder though if Chris is aware of that.
It is, yeah. I'll have to let him know that this is one he's got to track down. Also, has Conan ever wore anything more 70s ever? Like just the color palette of what he's wearing there, with like the very like baby blue and that red underneath. Like he looks like an X-Man. Like it's ridiculous.
And the fact that he's wearing anything on the upper half of his body at all is noteworthy.
I know, yeah. Not something that happens very often. I'm sure it got torn off mid-issue or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Further along we go into Titan to see if there's anything else worth mentioning. I think this is we're gonna run into this in general in this catalog. A whole lot of stuff in mid-storyline, but Blade Runner 2039, the complete series omnibus, available. So if you want the full 2039 story, that is available to you, Mike Johnson and Andres Guinaldo, set in the world of Blade Runner before the sequel movie that came out, which was Blade Runner 2049, and this is continuing that story in one form or another 10 years before it. So good times. Celebrate the 75th anniversary of Peanuts with Charlie Brown and Snoopy here. Yep. 20th book in the series, features 122 classic Peanuts strips from 1963 through 64 for you on page 35 here.
That's something the grade school Adam would have been happy to have.
Absolutely. And Gamera Rebirth, prequel to the hit Netflix anime series, Code Fierces. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Whether it's the case or not, that's how it's getting pronounced.
As you will.
Yep. By Cambria Bakatsu Taro, out of Titan Manga here, volume 1 of this Gamera manga. So any of you Gamera heads, you got more Gamera than you can fit into a hat here under your volume 1, just in time for the anime series on Netflix. Page 36 for that.
Has it not premiered yet?
I believe it is not. I think it's in the process of premiering, but also I could be wrong about that because there's so many things that premiere on Netflix that are either not on my main page or premiere and then are immediately taken off the next day. So it's hard to keep track.
Hello, Netflix, you're approved.
Yep. Meanwhile, on page 38, because I don't have a manga section to say these type of titles in,
yes.
Do Women Need Sex Entertainment, Volume 1?
I suspect the answer is yes.
Experience love, lust, and laughter in this humorous and heartwarming coming-of-age manga exploring self-discovery, romance, and sexuality with quirky art and real moments that will make you laugh and reflect, by Yakinatsu and Sone Yoshioka. So, Do Women Need Sex Entertainment, Volume 1. Sex and the City for a manga audience. All right, and one more thing here. Marvel sneaks itself into the Titan section. Marvel's Venom, The First 40 Years. This is a deluxe book exploring the comic book history of Venom from his origins as a foe in the Spider-Man comics to his greatest battles, deadliest enemies, and unlikeliest allies. So this is very much a reference book, but it does cover the first 40 years of Venom. For any of you Venom heads out there who want to know more about your favorite character, that is available out of Titan on page 44. 40 years of Venom. Crazy. Yep. Go figure. All right, and that'll do it for Titan, and let's head on over to DC. And right there on the cover of DC is the book that nobody will shut up about because it has to happen, and it is important. I will give you that, because this has not happened in a very long time. The Marvel solicit is out for the Marvel book, and now the DC book is available, and it sure as hell has some names behind it. As Grant Morrison will be doing the main story, while Dan Mora will be drawing the main story. DC Marvel Batman Deadpool #1. Yep.
And lots of really cool looking B features as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this is not just the Batman Deadpool show, folks. This is a full-scale DC Marvel anthology crossover kind of thing. So
yep.
Lots of fun mashups. Not something I would recommend you skip.
Mm-hmm. I love that Redondo cover with Laura Kinney, Wolverine, and Nightwing. That's actually pretty awesome. Yep. Plus we get a Sherman variant with Constantine and Doctor Strange.
Yes, and he actually makes it work.
Yep. Yes, he does. Yep. Of course, you've got Deadpool and Lobo on the same cover with a variant cover there. Oh my God, Batman and Punisher, a Crisis send-up right there by Ryan Sook variant of Batman holding Deadpool's dead body.
And laughing, it looks like.
Yep. And even a Wolverine send-up there by Bill Sienkiewicz, of Deadpool holding three claws in his hand, with Batman's face in the claw. So send up to that very famous cover of Wolverine with the Hulk. So, yep, good stuff there on page 1 and the subsequent pages after that, and then more DCKO.
Yeah, I'm not on board for this, Ian.
I feel you.
Just another big silly slugfest. And I don't think DC needs it. I
mean, at least it sounds like an animated series on Cartoon Network. Like that, it's got
true.
For it. DCKO coming this fall. Scott Snyder. Yeah, I mean, it's written by Scott Snyder, so I'm sure it'll at least be fun to read. But it's going to be forgettable. We know this.
That is a fair point. Scott Snyder doesn't usually write junk, so hopefully this will not be junk.
Yeah. And Javi Fernandez on the artwork chore is nothing to slouch at either.
Junk or not, I will be none the wiser. I'm just gonna save a little money.
Fair enough. This tie-in though, Joshua Williamson on the writing. Dan Mora had nothing else to do this month, so he decided to draw this. He was just like, "Well, I've got about 20 minutes. I might as well draw an entire issue of a DC comic. may as well." And it looks like Batman with some extra dark side-esque tech.
Oh yes, looks decidedly apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those Kirby Electrode things.
Yep. New Gods action going on there. So DCKO Night Fight. Experience Batman's epic journey through the explosive event. The Dark Knight is forced to take a different path in the tournament for the Heart of Apocalypse, one that has turned Gotham into a deadly arena where Batman must battle against the Batmen of the future. Who are these Batmen? Stay tuned to find out.
That's right. The future, Ian.
The future!
All the way to the year 2000.
In the year 2000! Oh, my God. Yes. I can't wait for them to all just, stand in a circle and shake each other's hands. Batman, 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 Batman. All right, we get it already. Good times. Page 5 there. It looks like, once again, stupid fun. And then we have Superman number 32, where Lex Luthor comes in full armor. I'm always a fan of that, on page 6. The Terrific 10 are on a do-or-die mission in Justice League Unlimited number 13. Shockingly, a DCKO tie-in. But look what Alan Scott is wearing. And that makes me happy, because I really love the design of his Kingdom Come outfit, and that seems to be the armor he's wearing.
Look who's flying above his head, and ask yourself if Raph will be made happy by that.
Ooh, yes! Electric Blue? What are you doing here? It's definitely a cross-time situation. So it's Alan Scott from Kingdom Come. We've got Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond. We've got Electric Blue. We've got Power Girl from one of the times she had the boob window. and Mr. Terrific himself. Yeah, all right. Okay, fine. You got me. It's Wade and Mora. It's Justice League Unlimited. Fine. Take my money. Whatever.
Wow. Looks like a few rogues profiled up above their heads as well.
Yep.
And the time trapper lies near dead at Metamorpho's feet. That's a tantalizing sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
wow.
All right. And this is, it's Justice League Unlimited by Wade and Mora. So, you know, DCKO or not, there's plenty enough there to make sure that it gets my $4.
Absolutely. Yep. And Mark Waid and Christopher Cantwell writing The Flash.
Yep, and this is part 2 of a storyline that's unofficially titled Impulse Point.
Oh my God. Look, even if I have to deal with Wally being in that horrible new outfit, I yes, please. Yes.
Yep, and horrible it is. I have to agree.
Yeah. There's no like it's not symmetrical. There's just no reason for it to be. It just takes away from the whole look. It's too much black. It's not enough red. The yellow goes wherever it feels like. It's just.
And damn Lee lines call them throughout. It looks.
Yes.
It looks like they went back to his New 52 costume and then made it worse.
I was gonna say, like, it feels more New 52 than his New 52 outfit, quite frankly. Well, issue 27. 2 of my favorite writers. Taking on some of my favorite characters. I'm all in on that on page 8. Absolutely.
Wasn't a huge fan of the Cy Spurrier run, so I'm kind of glad they've moved on.
Yep. Agreed. And John Layman and Pete frickin' Woods continue to take on Titans, and that was an excellent crew to take over the book, and they've been doing a damn fine job on it. Even if this is once again a DCKO tie-in, it's still Titans, and it's still going to be fun. So, page 9. Yep. And then, because this is digital, what should be a 2-page spread is not. Yeah.
Maybe I can. Yep, here we go. I can help us get everything.
Although I will point out, Pants brought this up on Facebook or somewhere else, and I want to bring it up here as well. If you want to remain spoiler free for this stupid event, do not read pages 10 and 11 because it will give away who won the first rounds. So keep that in mind. I don't know why they did that, why they felt they needed to do that, but they did. And so if you want to stay spoiler free on a beat 'em up event where characters fight characters for the sake of fighting characters, then please do not read these pages. There, I said it. We're moving on.
You have been warned.
Exactly. Oh, man. And we get more Absolute Bane in Absolute Batman number 14 by Snyder and Dragotta. The Battle of Kansas begins in Absolute Superman. Oh, look at that Tawaski variant. Wow. Mm-hmm. That is something else.
Yeah, pretty heroic looking.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Page
a little
13.
Additionally yellow around the arms and legs. Mm-hmm. Doesn't hurt.
Yep. Well, the battle suit of the absolute version of Superman allows him to sort of have these like force energy in his fists. So there is a little bit more red and yellow to be found in this version of Superman than in others. So kind of channels his energy essentially. All right. Absolute Wonder Woman number 14. We get further along in that arc. 2-part guest arc from visionary artist Mateus Bergara and written by Kelly Thompson herself on page 14. Continuing to really like Absolute Wonder Woman. And Absolute Flash raids Fort Fox as he tries to get to the bottom of the secrets within on page 15. Once again, still surprised by how much of a old school Bruce Banner Hulk feel I get out of this Absolute Flash in some ways. a lot more grounded in that way of like experiment gone wrong being chased by government agents in a similar fashion to how Bruce used to be chased. So,
Well, at least he doesn't have to sad hitchhike his way along the road. He's got his own transportation. He is his own transportation.
that is true. Absolute Green Lantern number 8. We get the secret origin of this version of Joe Mullen, and Al Ewing will bring that to us in typical Al Ewing fashion on page 16. And Fraction and Jimenez take things to a whole new level as their thrilling new run on Batman continues. Vandal Savage makes his move against Batman and Robin. Tim Drake, Robin, baby. As Bruce Wayne tries to make amends, and the Riddler makes his play for arguably the most important item in all of Gotham. I am really, really interested in this arc, and I haven't read the first issue yet. I'm going to. This is the most excited I've been about Batman in years. So, Fraction, Jimenez, give it to me, baby. 17.
I'd like to see what Fraction makes of the Riddler.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Nightwing takes a page from Batman's playbook and storms Spheric Solutions, ready to end his conflict with Olivia Pierce once and for all. Unbeknownst to Nightwing, she's been planning for his arrival, and the battle quickly turns explosive, public and personal. Can Bloodhaven's hero survives when its own city turns against him? Dan Waters' Nightwing run continues there in issue 132 on page 18. Now, I'm not gonna talk much about this outside of the fact that those of you who are looking at this solicitation with us on YouTube, those of you hearing my voice, Red Hood is canceled. Red Hood is not happening. The first issue is now going for gangbusters on eBay because it was distributed to a bunch of stores. And those people who had not picked up their comics, the stores were told to pulp them essentially, and it's not going forward. It's a long story. I'm not getting into it here.
Yeah.
Possibly Blue Team may take it on at some point because I know Donovan has words he wants to talk about with it as well. But Gretchen Felker Martin is no longer associated with DC Comics, and this entire 12-issue run is canceled. So,
Yep. It is a politically charged issue.
It is, and it's also putting foot in mouth in a lot of ways. Gretchen's an angry person. I'm just going to put it that way. I completely understand why she's angry, but there are a bunch of things that, honestly, if you're working for a company, you should really know when to hold your tongue when you need to. And there were some things that really she shouldn't have said. There's other stuff that I fully agree that is ridiculous, but there's specific incendiary things that she either tweeted or otherwise that kind of bit her in the ass. So that's life, unfortunately, on the internet. So page 19, it ain't happening. So sorry.
Nothing to see here. Keep moving. Keep scrolling.
Exactly. All right, page 20. We're on issue 27 of the new Birds of Prey run. 27 issues. Very happy about that.
Yep, this has been a favorite of yours, hasn't it, Ian?
Yes, it has. Yep, Kelly Thompson continues to write some of the best Birds of Prey since Gail Simone. And that's high praise.
Yes, indeed.
Gail herself is really loving this run, and it breathed new life into the property. Well earned and well deserved. So issue 27 of that, continuing the arc here on page 20. Erica Henderson dives into the definitive origins of Harley and Ivy's relationship in Harley and Ivy Life and Crimes #1, written and drawn by the one and only Erica Henderson. Great artwork to be had, most definitely.
Yep. She's the one who drew the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl series, if you're scratching your heads at the name.
Absolutely. And that cute style of artwork definitely lends itself well to the story being told here. And see their first kiss, their first embrace, their first fight, the first time Harley went to the bathroom with a door open in front of Ivy. That one is a joke. You're gonna love the way this book makes you look. We guarantee it. I'm really glad they threw that in there. That's solicit that just sounds better when it's spoken out loud. It's the Midas touch, baby.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of Men's Warehouse references in this catalog these days.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't. In general, you don't really, but still. Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes, #1 by Erica Henderson. A couple pages after that show some preview artwork, and it is really, really well done. 45th issue. Yep, this is for you, Murd.
Oh, indeed. Thank you. Amazingly not drawn by Dan Mora, but it's on page 24, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, #45, and Wade has gotten around to the Luthor Joker team. Lex Luthor and the Joker have joined forces once again, but this uneasy alliance hinges on a crucial outcome, the final defeat of both Batman and Superman. Why else would the most brilliant criminal mind of our time and the Clown Prince of Crime team up? Well, the answer will surprise you. And them. Well, let's see what pretext master storyteller Mark Waid can come up with for these two characters to get together this time.
Yep. Meanwhile, it may date this episode a little bit, but my brain had to go to the baseball scores, especially because I was at the Yankee game last night and got to see the Yankees clinch a postseason berth. At the moment, the Red Sox are winning 7-0 over the Blue Jays, and the Yankees are winning 5-1 over the White Sox. So if things hold, by the time this recording is over, the Yankees will be tied for first place. So it's going to be a very interesting last couple of days of baseball for this New Yorker.
AL East is bananas right now.
Yes, it is, and congrats on your Phillies for clinching their spot. So.
Well, thank you, because last night I was at the ballpark too while you were watching the Yankees. I was I got rained on, and I saw the Phillies clinch nothing.
Yeah, I saw that you had the rain that we could have potentially had, essentially, because there was rain in our forecast all night, and luckily never came.
Yeah, it didn't really start falling until like the bottom of the 9th.
Oh.
Right after the Phillies' Dynamite closer had blown a 1-run lead, and so we had to troop out of there and drive home in the rain. And we actually got back from Philadelphia to the Jersey Shore in time to see the end of that game, and it did not end well for the Phillies.
Hey. Well.
So congratulations to the Yankees for being right in the thick of that scrum for the division title.
Yes, we treated the White Sox as the White Sox should be treated this year. I'm sorry if there's any White Sox fans listening to this, but look, I'm sorry, your team sucks. So
I think they know by now, Ian.
I know.
And the hell of it is, they don't even suck as much as they did last year.
No, they don't. And congratulations to the Colorado Rockies for at least being 3 or 4 games better than the White Sox were last year. So there you go. Mm-hmm. And that's been your baseball talk in the middle of a previews episode. Anyway, Batman Dark Patterns issue 12. This is the final issue of Dan Waters and Hayden Sherman's Dark Patterns run. I know Brent Casino was talking this one up a lot, so I'll have to check this out now that it's all concluded here. So Dan Waters, Batman Dark Patterns issue 12, available on page 25 of the DC catalog. Action Comics continuing its Superboy arc, as for the first time since his unexpected debut, Clark returns to the City of Tomorrow, obsessed with the future and his place in it, particularly since Captain Comet has deliberately set a mighty obstacle in front of him that he and his family have no idea how to overcome. He needs to earn the trust of the people of Metropolis, and fast.
Wade has had me at Captain Comet ever since Captain Comet first came up several issues ago. It takes a pretty strong impetus to get me to pay $4.99 for a 32-page comic. I am that parsimonious. But yeah, Captain Comet did it in this case, and Mouse Man did it in the case of Tom King's Wonder Woman, which is at the bottom of this same page.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. He's the Mouse Man. He controls the mice, you see.
He knows. Mouse Man knows.
Squeaky, squeaky, squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm going to steal some pizza from the streets of New York City. But I'm sorry, that was a pizza rat, not a pizza mouse. But either way, Wonder Woman number 27 available to you. I have a squeaky toy of the pizza rat that New York Comic Con put out a couple years ago in my room, in the other room, which is good times. Issue 27 of that Wonder Woman run by Tom King. And then on that same page, the finale of Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman by Mr. King and Belen Ortega. And guess who's coming to dinner in Supergirl number 7? Hint, it's a giant shark.
Very ladylike giant shark, too.
Yep.
Yep, that's another great cover from Sophie Campbell. I really like what she's doing with this series, by the way. She knows her pre-crisis lore, and she's serving it up in creative ways for a new 21st century audience.
Yep.
Just look at that Rockwellian scene with Crypto and Streaky licking their chops.
Yep, and while we're at it, Lena Luthor, part of the gang here in this Supergirl run, and Lena invited her brother Lex and his girlfriend Mercy to Thanksgiving dinner. So how about that? Interesting. Yeah, that's a little change of pace there. While on that same page, John Kent is coming to the rescue of Superman in Superman Unlimited number 7 by Mr. Slott with artwork by Lucas Meyer.
Any fans of John Henry Irons out there? Looks like he's looking to start up a new steelworks. Near Smallville.
All for it. Absolutely. Oof. Oh my God. That cover by Nimit Malavia here for New Gods number 12. That is very pretty. Good stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's Orion with Mr. Miracle in the foreground there.
You better believe it. Yep. This is the 12th issue of Ram V's New Gods run.
Yep, that's gallery worthy right there.
Yep. And then in Aquaman number 11, a king's descent into madness. It appears to be perhaps dark side related madness. As Mira and the mystery of Atlantis unravels, even as Andy moves toward her ultimate goal and Arthur contends with the power of the blue. But is this power too much for even a king to contend with? An oceanic onslaught unloads on the king of the seven seas, and the connection between the dark tide and dark side is at least revealed. They rhyme. That's the connection. That's it.
Ooh, mysterious.
Yes.
Page 30, they're not even going to show us the cover to Justice League Red number 4.
Yep. The story arc is called Cover Redacted. No. Saladin Ahmed, Clayton Henry. I guess you'll have to find out, folks, because apparently something happens in issue 3 that leads to craziness in issue 4, and they ain't going to tell us what it is.
Blah, 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 blah. Apocalypse, blah, 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 Black Adam. There you go.
Probably. Yeah. And Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott, what a team for this Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League story. 4th issue in that run, also on page 30.
Oh, got some hard traveling heroes on page 31. Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run teams up Hal Jordan and Ollie Queen.
Yep.
For old time's sake.
Always love it. That I also appreciate that Georgiev variant with Kyle front and center. That's there on page 29.
There he is.
Yep, and Kyle's also front and center on this not final cover because it doesn't have the colors yet of Green Lantern Corps number 10, written by Morgan Hampton. So Jeremy Adams ceding the writing chores to someone else for this 10th issue, as art and cover by Fernando Passerin and Auclair Albert. This is the aftermath of the Starbreaker supremacy. So Morgan Hampton may very well be the new ongoing writer of this, or it's a fill-in arc. So either way, page 31.
Yeah, interesting twist. It looks like all the different colored Lantern Corps are now headquartered on Oa.
How about that?
This is what happens when the cosmic police forces stop being polite and start getting real.
Oh man. This one's literally made for you, Murd. JSA number 13 Jeph Lemire, Gavin Guidry, a brand new story arc as we get JSA Year 1.
Yeah, we got Wesley Dodds and Rex Tyler there on the cover of the first part of this story. We know they have a special friendship. They teamed up for the first time in Matt Wagner. Well, I wouldn't say not the first time literally, but we saw an interpretation of their first team up in Matt Wagner's Sandman Mystery Theater years ago.
Yep. Yeah, this is going to be something else here, and I'm sure. I mean, it's Lemire, so it's bound to be good storytelling. But JSA is yet to really have the Year 1 treatment in the modern era. So this is the first time that's really happening.
Yep, it's the first time Lemire has gone full Golden Age with his Justice Society stories. They've opened set in the present with latter generation like legacy holders as part of the mix. But yeah, seeing him go all the way back to the 40s to the original context and tell some stories there is going to be good.
Absolutely. Page 32 for that. Enter Brainiac in Philip Kennedy Johnson and Scott Godlewski's Adventures of Superman, Book of L. And where we've gotten some hints that the newly announced Superman movie may very well involve a certain Brainiac. Not confirmed, but leaning that way. And especially with a title of Man of Tomorrow, it seems to be possibly heading that way. So here's hoping. We talked about it as wanting it, so damn it, we're going to get it. And meanwhile, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong still exists, and this is the 5th issue of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked up the first volume of this. I decided to skip this one.
Fair enough. Now here's the Christmas issue we were all waiting for. DC's I Saw Ma Hunkle Kissing Santa Claus.
Yep, this actually isn't the one I was thinking of, but yeah, I would buy this, sure.
Absolutely, yeah, yep.
It's not too expensive. It's got a couple of Golden Age familiar faces there on the front cover.
Yep.
Showed this to Danielle Corsetto recently. She was utterly charmed.
Nice.
And covered by Chrissy Zullo there.
Steve Orlando is one of the credited writers on this as well.
Excellent.
Yep.
True auteur of the weird.
Nice one-shot anthology-style book there on page 34. And another advertisement for the book that no longer exists. All right, moving forward to Batman Static Beyond #1. Evan Narcisse writing this. Even more an art and cover by Nicholas Draper Ivy. This is the not-so-distant future where young hero Terry McGinnis patrols the streets of Neo-Gotham as Batman Beyond while Virgil Hawkins, a.k.a. Static, forges a new technological revolution in Dakota City with the introduction of the Q-Wave energy grid. Together alongside the Justice League Beyond, the heroes prepare for the Earth's induction into the interplanetary alliance known as the Cooperative. Everything seems to be going smoothly until a new villain arrives on the scene and puts everything at risk. And at the center of all the mayhem is the unlikely duo of Static and Batman Beyond as they must work together to save the world before it's too late. Yes.
Suddenly it's a Saturday morning in 1999.
Damn Skippy. This is like popcorn right here. It feels right. It's a cool play on previously existing IP and bringing it into a new generation. Batman Static Beyond, yes, absolutely in. Page 36, and it's an Elseworlds, which makes it even better. It can stand on its own.
There we go.
That's why you have an imprint. That's why it should have been used this entire time.
For real.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, now this is an interesting project here. Written and drawn by past associate of ours, Gabriel Hardman. It's a Batman Green Arrow question team-up. Somewhere Denny O'Neil is smiling at that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a black label, too. It's looks like it's a 4-issue miniseries. 32 pages for $5.99, alas. But yeah, it's those three characters. And
Yeah, what is Queen Industries' involvement with a mysterious project called Arcadia? Spurred on by the question, Green Arrow and joins Hunt for answers, but one obstacle stands in the way of their investigation, and that is Batman. So, how do you get them all together? That's how. Arcadia, whatever the heck that is.
Ain't just a region in Greece, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A hard-boiled modern twist on the DC social thrillers of the 1980s, updating this opinionated trio of lone wolf vigilantes for the era of open-class warfare and ecological collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that's just looking at the image there. It's very much in the vein of the kind of comics that was published with these three characters in the 80s.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately, those comics featuring those characters in the 80s were depressing as hell, so... Sorry, Gabe, I don't think I'll be on board for this one.
Fair enough. But we do get a variant cover by Bill Sienkiewicz himself to go along with this. So, yep. Batman, Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia, #1 on page 39. This is for you, though.
Oh, yes, and I still... somewhat regret that I'm trade waiting on this, but again, it's a $5.99 32-page thing. This series is just so much me that it hurts me behind my eyeballs. But issue 4 is like an all mixes Pitlick and Zerf issue, and mixing in the kryptonite rainbow sherbet theme of this miniseries with fifth-dimensional madcap hijinks. Boy, I cannot wait to read this when the time finally comes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's by the Ice Cream Man team of W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morasso.
Yep. Cannot beat that. Page 40 for more. And the second issue of The Batman Second Night, continuing the first Batman stories being told by Dan Jurgens and Mike Perkins.
Yeah. Think of it as Batman of Earth 2 Year 1.
Good way to put it. Yep, definitely.
Yep, written by Jurgens, art by Mike Perkins, who takes his time, and damn if the result is not worth the wait. Mm-hmm. And I know, actually I don't know, I think Shane was into this idea.
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was, and I know Chris Eberly was very much interested in it when we talked about it as well. So, page 41 here for The Bat Dash Man, Second Night, #2. That's a distinction. There's a dash, so that's how you know it's a different setting. Yeah. Good facsimiles this month.
Oh, yes. Scarcely a better one I can think of. Justice League of America, Volume 1, number 21. Which is Crisis on Earth 1, the first story of the Crisis on Earth blank formula. It's got that famous cover of the Justice League holding a little seance to summon the JSA out of limbo through a crystal ball, appearing in a puff of magic smoke above their heads. You've all seen it.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's Justice League and Justice Society versus a coalition of villains from two Earths, the Crime Champions, by Gardner Fox and Mike Sikowski, the Justice League Team Supreme of the 60s.
Gotta love it. Yep. And then it's Batman versus Joe Chill in Batman issue 47 by Bill Finger, Ted Rosen, and Henry Boltinoff. And some guy named Bob Kane, who we don't like, on the artwork chores, Raymond Perry and Henry Boltinoff as well. And then, funny enough, on the same page as the facsimiles, this ain't no facsimile, but it's Mad Magazine number 47, and they continue to not actually tell us who's writing and drawing it, and they haven't for years, but they're still putting out Mad, and this is the 47th issue of this particular volume of Mad, so may as well mention it on page 40. Yeah.
The creators are credited in the magazine itself, so don't worry.
That is true. The third issue of this, I really want to check this out when it's all said and done. The Court Children of the Round Table by Tom Taylor and Danielle de Nicuolo. This just seems like it's Saturday morning cartoons, and I'm totally down for that, especially from a mind like Tom Taylor.
Kind of looks to me like Camelot 3000 meets Morrison's Doom Patrol.
Okay. Yeah,
And it's just pulling that off the top of my head, just the way just what this art brings to mind.
Yep. Fair enough there. Page 43. Then we get a Supergirl's Zoo Per Heroes Crypto's Big Break by Rob Justice on page 44. It's adorable. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's a super animal story, and it certainly seems to be all ages appropriate.
Absolutely. Yep.
Might be the start of a series.
Quite possibly. And then onward we go to the collected editions. We have Absolute Batman Volume 2, Abomination, on page 45. Collects issues 7 through 14 of the Absolute Batman run by Snyder and Dragotta, as well as a couple issues by Marcos Martin. That was the Mr. Freeze arc, and Clay Mann in there for good measure. And something that will be incredibly relevant to us here on this podcast at some point on page 46, the New History of the DC Universe Collected Edition. I can't wait. Oh, man. Good stuff.
Still waiting to get my hot little hands on the third issue of this.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and when we have time to sit down and go through this sucker, it's gonna be a hell of a time. I can only imagine.
Yeah, issue number 1 is especially challenging because, well, for reasons that'll become clear when we sit down to do it. But
fair enough. Yep, that's there on page 46. We get the 6th volume of G. Willow Wilson's Poison Ivy series, the little series that could, I like to call it, because who would have thought? issues 31 through 37 of a Poison Ivy series. And
from the seeds of what was supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries, a mighty oak has grown.
Absolutely, yep. With some gorgeous artwork and some great writing by G. Willow Wilson on page 47 there. We also get a couple other collections. But this one in particular, I'm looking forward to reading, the DC Power Rise of the Power Company by Brian Edward Hill. This collects all those Power Company one-shots together into one book. And we also get the Batman, the Brave and the Bold Myths and Mysteries by various creators, which includes Mr. Mike Norton in the mix. While we're at it.
Oh, yes, samplings from that extra-sized Batman, the Brave and the Bold anthology thing that they were publishing a few years ago. There's some good offbeat stories in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Michael Conrad in there, Alex Segura, page 49.
Oh, and here is a new edition of Tom King and Bilquis Evely's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow maxi series, which is the basis of the upcoming Supergirl movie, if you hadn't heard. And they're putting it out here in a compact 5.5 inch by 5.5 inch by 8.5 inch softcover. It's a mere $10, folks. 216 pages.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yep. It's the whole 8 issues in one little $10 volume.
Yep.
Buy it and get yourself up to date before the story hits the big screen.
Absolutely. Yep. Meanwhile, DC Finest brings us The Death of the Doom Patrol by Arnold Drake and Paul Kupperberg, with artwork by Bruno Premiani, Joe Staton, and Arvell Jones. This is some old school Doom Patrol action here from the original Doom Patrol series, issues 103 to 121, also including Showcase issues 94 through 96, and stories from Superman Family, issues 191 through 193. Don't believe a lot of this stuff has been collected before, so this is good for all of you Doom Patrol purists out there on page 50.
Yep. It's truly a watershed story because it's a Silver Age super team that actually had an ending to its run, and all the characters were killed off.
Yep.
That didn't happen that much in comics back in those days.
No,
and sure, pretty much all of them came back eventually, but for a couple of decades there, it was an absolute milestone.
Yeah. On that next page, page 51, we get an absolute edition of Batman White Knight. Critically acclaimed, Sean Murphy on the writing and the artwork chores. If anything deserves the $100 456-page treatment, this is very much high up there. This was the first chapter in the White Knight story that has been ongoing for a while now, in various miniseries. So Batman White Knight Absolute Edition by Sean Murphy. And on that same page, we have an Absolute Edition of Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison, which is some of my favorite Grant Morrison stuff. That was Batman and Robin issues 1 through 16, and then The Return of Bruce Wayne 1 through 6, and then Batman The Return number 1 on page 51. Part of me feels like that should have been on page 52 for various reasons.
Amen to that.
Yep.
But instead we get, a new 52 compendium.
That's true.
A collection of the supernatural-themed Justice League Dark, which was published right there at the beginning of the New 52, and there's a lot of stuff packed into that one. Yes, 1,600 pages, yow. Entire Justice League Dark run from number 0 to number 40, and samplings of other series that sort of abutted the Justice League Dark. Here an issue of Phantom Stranger, there an issue of Pandora, and some other Justice League titles that crossed over, I guess.
Yep. Meanwhile, something interesting here on page 52. They seem to be doing this more often with these compendiums. This is the first time ever that a Green Lantern compendium of Jeff Johns, Ron Mars, and Dave Gibbons' run of Green Lantern, of Hal Jordan Green Lantern, was done in reading order. So this is Green Lantern Secret Files and Origins 2005 number 1, and then Green Lantern Rebirth 1 through 6, the first 17 issues of that 2005 Green Lantern, and then Guy Gardner Collateral Damage, the Rand Thanagar War in full, issues 1 through 6, Rand Thanagar War Infinite Crisis Special number 1, and then Green Lantern Corps Recharge 1 through 5, and the first 12 issues of Green Lantern Corps. Green Lantern Corps. It says Green Lantern Corps 2006. That it doesn't actually say which issues of it. But then the 12 issues of Ion, which I love because that was Ron Mars returning to the Kyle Rayner character as Ion. So yeah, 52 page 52 there has some really good Green Lantern stuff for you to enjoy.
Yep, 1,500 plus pages of it for only $60.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. That's what you get for that 6 5/8 by 10 3/16 compact edition right there.
That's how they make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then on the next page, we get Batman and Superman in World's Finest, the Silver Age Omnibus Volume 2, the 2026 edition. That is a mouthful.
Plenty of Silver Age wackiness going on in that volume.
You better believe it. Yep. Negative Superman. That's really all you need to hear.
Shut up and take my money.
Yep. Negative Superman, Clayface Superman, Mirror Batman, and Batman, Son of Krypton. Yep. Okay. And then re-editions of Mad Love and Batman R.I.P. on that same page 53. I will say, any of you who have not read The Nail, that is one of my favorite Elseworlds of all time. Alan Davis on the writing and artwork chores, along with Mark Farmer. This should collect both The Nail. It's the completed deluxe edition, so it has both The Nail and Another Nail.
Another Nail, yeah. No, it's 312 pages. Yeah, the first series wasn't that long, so yeah, it must include the second one too.
Exactly, and I think Another Nail did a really good job of bringing everything together. It was many years after the original came out, but it still felt cohesive, and I appreciated it a great deal. So the Nail, if you have not read it, pick up this complete deluxe edition, and you will enjoy it on page 54.
Yep. Basically, it asks the question: what if the DC universe of the post-Golden Age got itself together without Superman? What if Superman was missing?
Yep.
And then JLA Another Nail picks up the story after Superman showed up and just shows how things fell out differently after that.
And on page 55, I will end us with rest in peace to the one and only Peter David. And we get Young Justice Omnibus Volume 2. Collecting issues 20 through 55 of the Young Justice series, as well as Our Worlds at War #1 Young Justice. Spy Boy, Young Justice 1 through 3, Impulse number 77, and 85, Superboy 91 and 99, Titans Young Justice Graduation Day 1 through 3, Stories from JLA, JSA Secret Files and Origins number 1, and Teen Titans number 50, and an extensive gallery of never before seen art. Very, very happy that they're doing this. This completes the omnibus collections, and even though I own these issues many times over, I think I'm going to buy Omnibus Volume 1 just so I can have Omnibus Volume 2 and just have it on my shelf and read it whenever I want. It's some of my favorite comics.
Absolutely. Yep. And I know Brandon Christopher must be dancing in the streets for this as well.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. And with that, on we go to Marvel, baby. Marvel. All right. And it is a very apocalyptic month at Marvel. Last month, they did the whole Age of Apocalypse send-up in a different way. And this month, they're doing an Age of Apocalypse send-up in a different way. This is X-Men of Apocalypse. And the premise behind this is, what if Jeph Loeb had been able to continue Age of Apocalypse literally after the final page and go on from there? This seems to be a going trend in comics, as a bunch of different companies are doing things like this. Like, what happened if they just continued writing after that? But this comes up from there. There have been many Age of Apocalypse continuations. This is the one by the original creator, so let's see how it goes. 4-issue miniseries, Jeph Loeb and Simone DeMeo on this one, part of the anniversary celebration of the Age of Apocalypse. It's the X-Men of Apocalypse versus the Uncanny X-Men in issue 1 there on page 2. Then there's, of course, X-Men Tales from the Age of Apocalypse, which collects Astonishing X-Men number 1, Factor X number 1, Weapon X number 1, and Amazing X-Men number 1 into one comic book there by Lobdell, John Francis Moore, Larry Hama, and Fabian Nicieza from back in the day.
So I'm assuming there'll be a number 2 eventually to collect the rest of the number 1s?
I assume so, yeah. Probably over the next couple of months they'll be doing things like that. This is our new Hulk series on page 6. It's called Infernal Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein. Incredible, immortal, infernal. The evil known as Eldest has literally torn Bruce Banner and the Hulk apart and taken Hulk's body as their own. This new unstoppable infernal Hulk is 10 times the monster that everyone always feared Hulk would be. Their diabolical plan is to plunge the world back into ancient horrors by transforming our heroes into nightmarish beasts. Meanwhile, the indomitable Bruce Banner, though powerless, will stop at nothing to thwart their evil schemes.
Mm-hmm. Transforming into nightmarish beasts, huh? That's me tapping out.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Can't do it.
Remember Inferno? It's back. Only more Inferno.
Okay, that does make the title make a little more sense. True, sure.
Yep.
But yeah, so Philip Kennedy Johnson continues to shows commitment to his take on the Hulk as monster, but
yeah,
making it more and more literal all the time.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Page 6 on that for you Hulk heads out there, and the cover. Oh my God! Wow, that cover. Damn, that's a scary mofo right there. Mm. Yep. Okay, interesting. J. Michael Straczynski, with artwork by Ron Lim and Sean Damian Hill, with a cover by Pete Woods, brings us 1776, number 1 of 5. Revolutionary warriors assemble. Calamity strikes when a mysterious force dares to tamper with the sacred threads of history. Captain America and his formidable squad of Marvel heroes leap into action, their mission to safeguard the founding of the United States of America. The fate of the nation hangs in a balance at the dawn of the revolution, as these valiant heroes must navigate the treacherous waters of the past to ensure a future that remains untarnished.
Shades of Captain America's bicentennial battles here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a fine creative team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
always been a fan of Ron Lim. So yeah, I'll be checking this one out with some interest.
Yeah.
I'll be hoping that Steve Rogers of the present will get to meet Captain Steve Rogers of the Continental Army.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be a great send-up right there. Yep, page 10 there. And if I get to see that wacky-ass design for that old school Captain America, yep, there he is, right there. Yep.
Pretty close to it, yeah. Just needs his mask and his tricorn hat.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Very cool. And then break the streak. Al Ewing and Paco Medina bring us Doc Ock back as Director of Operations for SCAR. There's dots in between that, you see. It stands for something.
Uh-huh.
And he's got the all-new toxin in his sights. Luke Cage isn't happy. Well, I feel like this is a Mad Lib. Like, but like it's just all of a sudden like, okay, all right, we need the name of a hero, Luke Cage, right? Fine, he's not happy, but all right, we need the name of a street, a place, New York. Okay, great. New York's mayor, choose the side with human law or symbiote justice. Plus, MJ gets a new gig, Venom gets a new look, and the rollicking return of Blue Streak.
Which no one's been clamoring for. Blue Streak is one of the third-rate villains that was killed off by Scourge back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow.
So, good on Ewing for thinking of him, I guess.
If anybody's going to do it, it's Al Ewing. I'll tell you, man. Like, that man knows his history.
Haven't picked up an issue of Venom in a couple of years now, I don't think. But of course, this is... Usually when I get to the Marvel section... If I see 32 pages, $4.99, I just that's the end of my interest right there. But
no, that's fair. That's fair.
And while I am happy to see the Blue Streak again, I don't think I'm quite $5 happy.
Fair enough. Well, Venom Mad Libs number 251 available there on page 15, and then were you waiting for Captain America to take on Alien? Well, here's your chance.
Well, I don't know. I can see potential in the idea, especially since it's set in World War II.
That is true. Yeah. Frank Thierry is the writer on this. Stefano Raphael on the artwork chores. And the Red Skull's newest recruits are aliens, literal aliens. Yep. Yeah. That's gonna go great. That's gonna go wonderful. Nothing like some chest bursters to make you feel alive in World War II, right? Oh boy. Yeah. Captain America and the Howling Commandos. So.
Yeah. It's a lot to like in this description, but it's $5.99. So.
Yeah, I know. 32 pages for $5.99. Come on, guys. Yeah, really,
it's really not necessary. I mean, I'd pay that if this were coming out from one of the smaller companies, but from Marvel, there's just no excuse.
No, fair enough. Yeah. And this is the other Age of Apocalypse send-up, as a whole bunch of X-Men titles have changed names and general premises, and it's a dark future come to be and all that jazz. And we get Amazing X-Men #2, X-Men Book of Revelation #2, Unbreakable X-Men, Expatriate X-Men, The Last Wolverine, which has some really interesting characters in it. Laura Kinney Sabretooth. I actually really like the design of Laura Kinney as Sabretooth, as it's using that rejected Wolverine costume as her main costume. I forget what the actual name of the character is that wound up using that in the end, because it wasn't Sabretooth, but it was almost Sabretooth's outfit. Claw or something like that, whatever.
Oh, are you thinking of Fang?
Fang, thank you, Fang. Yes.
Oh
Fang.
yeah, it was Fang's costume originally. He was a member of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, and Logan stole the costume from him just because he needed something to wear.
And I believe that was also Wolverine's original concept costume, which he then wound up wearing for a little bit because it was quote unquote Fang's costume. That's
I see. It's
that.
Yeah, little in joke there. So
yeah.
So in universe, in the history of the comics that were actually published, it was Fang's costume first. But behind the scenes, It was originally going to be Wolverines.
Yep. Which then essentially gave them the idea to make Sabretooth kind of based off that general costume idea. But page 23 there for Laura Kinney, Sabretooth _2. And then we get Rogue Storm, which is Rogue and Storm, you see. That's why it's called Rogue Storm.
And also Gambit.
Why not? But he doesn't get to he doesn't get to be on the cover. Rogue Gambit Storm just doesn't sound that cool.
True.
Deadpool #2 by Tim Seeley. Tim Seeley, Undeadpool #2. He's a Zambi. Page 25. Iron and Frost. Iron Man and Emma Frost action there, and then you get long shots, and that's right, X-Babies. Yes, because you demanded it. Definitely, it's
a lot of people demanding a lot of stuff this month.
I know. Well, I mean, technically, according to the solicit, order and pre-order this book now. Mojo demands it, so it's Mojo's fault that this is happening. But yeah, Jonathan Hickman co-writing this book along with Jerry Duggan, with Alan Robinson on the artwork chores there on page 27. And Binary by Stephanie Phillips in there for good measure. Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak or Dagger.
Yes.
What a twist.
Ooh, they took the and turned it into an or. Ooh.
Conjunction junction, what's that function?
Love it. Sinisters 6. Mr. Sinisters 6. That's special. That's good. X-Vengers. You were expecting an A, but instead you got an X. Page 31 there. Omega Kids. Also coming to CBS this fall, on page 32 there. Radioactive Spider-Man is it. This is the one that I had one of the more interest in, because you get this 6-armed Spider-Man that I love that just randomly shows up, and it's written by regular series writer Joe Kelly with Kev Walker artwork. So that's some good pedigree right there.
Indeed.
Page 33. This is the first thing outside of Age that looks very interesting to me. Stephanie Phillips, Aaron Kuder, Planet She-Hulk on page 34. Sakaar, party of one. She-Hulk is back, and she's stuck on Sakaar, spinning out of Jonathan Hickman's big cosmic epic Imperial. Jennifer Walters made a promise to her cousin Hulk to watch over the planet Sakaar and its people for a few days. But it's been longer than a few days, and now She-Hulk is in charge of keeping the peace on a planet at war. But Jennifer is a very different Hulk than the one who once smashed Sakaar into submission. Is she up for the task? Good questions. And I think this could be a very different take on Jennifer Walters in a very different situation than she's normally in. Using that law power to a brand spanking new level here on page 34. And I like the look of her as Queen right there. Ooh, spicy artwork too. Doing the John Cena hand signal at one point.
That's what that is.
You can't see She-Hulk. You can't see her. All right, moving forward. Jimmy Palmiotti. Not only did he bring back the corner box in this, but Daredevil Punisher, The Devil's Trigger, #1 of 5. Tommaso Bianchi on the artwork chores. This looks like it's going to be really, really good. Do you have what it takes to pull the trigger? Daredevil and the Punisher, two of Marvel's mightiest with one of the most celebrated and storied rivalries in comics, find themselves at odds, not only with each other, but with New York's criminal element once again. Palmiotti revisits the world that was, as Frank Castle is pitted against the gnocchi family. Yes, that lovely pasta family, for their most violent and visceral confrontation yet. As their conflict threatens to tear Hell's Kitchen apart, it'll fall to Daredevil to contain the chaos.
Good news, it's Gnocchi from Garth Ennis's run.
Okay, good.
They're not going to be fighting little potato dumplings. It's going to be people.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to have them fight little potato dumplings, but you know.
I think I'd be more interested in buying this comic if that were the antagonist. Yeah, but
it's the battle of the gnocchi people. But yeah, hey, it does look at. I mean, it's great to see Palmiotti back working at Marvel in any way, and it's great to see a corner box back. So
yes, definitely agree there.
That's available there on page 38. Somehow we still have One World Under Doom comics coming out. Red Hulk number 10, and there's a Man Wolf. No, it's Warwolf. Page 40. And then, finally, issue 9 of One World Under Doom. It's over. It's done. We can move on from this.
Does feel like it's been raging on in the background for a long time now, doesn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah, most definitely the case. I'm much more curious about page 42, as Jed MacKay gets to take on Nova. Nova Centurion number 1 with Alvaro Lopez on the artwork chores. Got a problem? Nova can help for a price. Yeah.
Yeah. Rich Rider taking on some Merc work, huh?
Rich Rider for hire. Deep Space Drifter weighed down with the truth of the terrible lie that the new Galactic Union was built upon. Nova is a core of 1, but how long can he keep his hands clean handling dirty money?
He's just doing this to pay for his World Minds operation.
It's fine. It's fine, you know? Page 42 there. JMS also returns to Amazing Spider-Man. This is his second issue of Amazing Spider-Man Torn. First Amazing Spider-Man he has written outside of crossover issues in many, many, many years. Perry Perez in the artwork chores there, page 45. Speaking of Palmiotti, he's also back from Marvel Knights Punisher, and the second issue of that is out with Dan Panosian on the artwork chores as well. I would give you a page number, but they don't give me another one until page 49. So I'm just going to say 45. 45. Let's go with 45 for that. Echo's back. Interesting. Page 50 here. Echo Seeker of Truth by Taboo, B. Earl, and more. New Age of Echo begins here. When her cousin goes missing in Los Angeles, Echo goes to the City of Angels to find out what happened to her. When she discovers is a series of disappearances centered around a mysterious wellness cult called Wisteria Meadows. That does not sound like a good place. As Echo dives deeper into the mystery, she'll discover a truth about herself she never imagined. But who is the faceless puppet master behind the cult, and what is their sinister plan? Echo Seeker of Truth number 1. Great brand new cover by David Mack to go along with it on page 50. Now this is a holiday spectacular I can get behind. Page 51. Rainbow Rowell writing this one, along with Luciano Vecchio, Bob Quinn, and more on the artwork chores. Holiday plans no more. Peter Parker is alone for the holidays. Luckily, the spectacular Spider-Man has some amazing friends he can celebrate with. But can the Fantastic Four, Avengers, X-Men, Daredevil, and more handle winter with the wisecracker webhead? Or will the Thing have to send Spidey packing to ensure a silent night? Thank you, Rainbow Rowell. Thank you very, very much for understanding what a holiday spectacular is supposed to be. A heck of a lot of fun. And it sounds like we're getting that here on page 51.
Yep, and no severed limbs or rotting flesh in sight.
Yep, absolutely. Love me some Rainbow Rowell, and she is doing it right. All right, getting a little bit further in. We get to issue 1000. We're getting there. We're getting there. This is issue 980. They fooled me with this with the top there, but we're on issue 980, which means we're probably only like 3 months away with all the Spider-Man issues that come out every month. Like somehow we'll get the 20 issues in the next like 3, but Amazing Spider-Man number 16, the Resolute Spider Slayer, Joe Kelly, John Romita Jr. there on page 57. And we also get a Miles Morales issue 40 as Cody Ziegler and Marco Renna continue that run there as Spider-Man kneels to Rabble's reign. Spider-Man 94 issue 3 of 5, J.M. DeMatteis giving us the continuation of my childhood Spider-Man animated series there on page 62. And Guggenheim and Kari Andrews continue their Spider-Man and Wolverine book, Tale of Two Heroes. Heard some very positive things about this book, so I may have to check out that from the beginning at some point. There on page 63.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Facsimile edition of one of the comics that I very much remember picking up from Bullpen Comics and Cards. No longer exists on Avenue X and Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn back in the day. Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Picked it right up off the shelf, and I think I still have it slabbed in a CGC case back at my mom's. Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. This is what started off the entire Ultimate Universe here on page 65, and this is a full facsimile edition of that first issue. We also got facsimiles of Fantastic Four #11 and Civil War #4 while we're at it.
Oh, yes. Intro of the Impossible Man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think I might actually own a copy of that already. Otherwise, this facsimile would be a definite buy for me.
Nice. The penultimate issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. We swear there's not going to be a second volume, but for now, this is issue 23. 24 will be the final issue. Why they're not just ending it at 25 is another question that I have, but it's page 67 for that. I guess 2 full years you can say, but 25 just sounds that much better than 24. But Hickman and Chichetto. Penultimate issue here, Kingpin versus Spider-Man. And we also get issue 22 of Ultimate Black Panther and issue 18 of Denise Camp's Ultimates and issue 11 of Ultimate Wolverine and issue 21 of Ultimate X-Men on the subsequent pages all the way up to page 71. Zdarsky's Captain America brings us A Tale of Two Captains. As Steve learns the true nature of his mission to Latveria, he finds himself at odds with his former ally, Dave Colton, the current Captain America, whose path to freedom grows more violent by the day. Who will be the last captain standing? They still haven't decided if this is canon. And I don't think they're going to until the end of the arc and what people have to say about it. Because, again, this is a Steve Rogers that wakes up after 9/11. Like, that's how far ahead they've time slid the Marvel Universe, according to Chip Zdarsky. So that's why there's this other Captain America that fills in a further gap. This is a Dave Colton that was Captain America during, that era. So who the hell knows? Yep. Very, very interesting where they're deciding to go with this, and whether or not that's actually going to wind up working out in the end, we shall see. So, page 73 there for Captain America #5. Ooh. Ryan North and Humberto Ramos, Fantastic Four #5, guest starring the Black Cat, of all people. Not somebody you usually see palling around with the Fantastic Four.
Well, we're told in the solicit here that apparently Felicia Hardy is Sue Storm Richards' least favorite person in New York City.
Nice.
I have to think there'd be a lot of people further up on her shit list than the Black Cat.
I would think so too, yeah. But, oh well, so it goes. Page 75 for that. New Avengers #6 on page 76. Who is the traitor? I guess we'll find out as we continue to read. And Jeremy Whitley, friend of the show, continues his Strange Tales story here. #2 of 4, as strange things are afoot. While running late for her next gig with MJ on Halloween, Gwen Stacy discovers that the Night of Mischief has left Doctor Strange a victim of the nefarious Green Goblin. With pumpkin bombs exploding and webs thwipping within the halls of the Sanctum Sanctorum, grave consequences await Gwen as the witching hour comes to a close. Strange Tales, issue 2 of 4 there on page 78. Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck, comes to a conclusion. As Jason Aaron writing and Someone they don't want to reveal is doing the artwork, which means it must be somebody cool. And grand finale here of this landmark Uncle Scrooge adventure written by Jason Aaron.
It's either somebody cool or somebody last minute.
Why not both?
Yeah, hopefully both.
Yep. Page 80 for that. And then speaking of Godzilla, he's continuing to destroy the Marvel Universe while also destroying the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, while also destroying the Justice League. And this is Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe number 5 of 5, World War Godzilla on page 81. Also, Predator is killing the Marvel Universe while Godzilla destroys it on page 82.
These line forms on the right, guys.
Yep, basically. New Predator Badlands comic by Ethan Sachs and Elvin Ching as we prep for the new film Predator Badlands. This is the tie-in comic book here on page 83. Most of the Star Wars comics are mid-storyline, so we're going to skip that down into the collections. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Omnibus, written by Mark Waid, Mark Guggenheim, and others. And this collects the whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. book that was out a couple of years ago into one giant collection. 672 pages of S.H.I.E.L.D. comics for $100.
Yeah, there was some legitimately good stuff in that series.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of good series, Black Widow and Captain America by Wade Insomni on page 93. This collects the Black Widow issues 1 through 12 and Captain America issues 695 through 704, which teamed up Black Widow and Captain America and was written by the same crew. So Wade and Somni are always a great team up, and this was an excellent series that they put together back in a couple of years back in 2016, page 93. Page 94 makes me a happy man. What If Into the Multiverse, Omnibus Volume 3. So this is putting together shocking twists and turns here as the long-running What If series ends. Imagine if J. Jonah Jameson had adopted Peter Parker, the Scarlet Spider had killed Spider-Man, or the Wall Crawler had remained part of the New Fantastic Four alongside Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and the Hulk. Ponder worlds where Storm bore the power of the Phoenix, and Magneto ruled mutant kind, or Colossus never joined the X-Men. Plus a bunch more, including the debut of Spider-Girl herself, Mayday Parker, and ending off with what if the Marvel heroes had never left Battleworld in the Secret Wars. That ended it and was a really fine issue. This was back when I was basically picking up What If by the single issue, and I remember doing that lovingly.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to it.
Kind of a cult classic, that final issue with with Battle World. So this collects issues 76 through 114, except for number 84.
Yes.
No explanation given. I'm guessing it involves like a licensed character maybe that Marvel doesn't have under their aegis any longer. Yeah. And the flashback tie-in number -1.
Interesting.
And a lot of creative talent because since every issue of What If was basically a reality unto itself, each issue could be written and drawn by a different creative team, and they used it as something of a tryout book at times.
So the reason why 84 is not in it is because of the creator and not because of the content. It was a Gerard Jones issue. So yeah, and Gerard Jones is very much persona non grata for many, many reasons. So that is What If Shard had lived instead of Bishop. And they're excluding that because they don't want to give him any royalties. And more power to them for that. Because, yeah.
It's not a story anyone's dying to read these days anyway.
Exactly. Yep. So, Multiverse Omnibus Volume 3 here, as you said, finishing out the What If run of the time. Get a Avengers Omnibus here as well, as a 3-year run of the Avengers, back when Conway, Shooter, Dave Michelini, and Steve Englehart were some of the main driving forces behind it. collecting issues 150 through 188, as well as annual 6 through 9, Supervillain Team Up, Marvel 2-in-1 Annual, Marvel Premiere 35 through 37, and 49, and What If issues 3 and 9 along with it, as well as Marvel Tales and Marvel Treasury Edition thrown out for good measure there. Page 96.
Classic.
Indeed. The Death of the Silver Surfer by Greg Pak, collected in full in hardcover there on page 98. So if you were waiting for it, that's all 5 issues there for you. And J.M. DeMatteis's Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood there for you on page 99. What's black and white and red all over? Spider-Man. That's the answer. All right. See if there's anything else of note here that's worth mentioning. Let's see. West Coast Avengers Volume 2 there by Jerry Duggan.
Kind of a sleeper hit for me. I like that series.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard very positive things about it. I've read I think I read the first 2 issues of it and enjoyed it. Yep. Wolverine and Kitty Pryde by Chris Claremont, going back to the Wolverine and Kitty Pryde concept many years later. 5-issue miniseries, penciled by Damian Cucchiero with some great Alan Davis covers thrown in there. But something that I will end with here on Marvel: Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale, Captain America trade paperback, collecting Captain America White issues 0 through 5. This doesn't get as much love as some of the other ones because it took forever to come out. But it's still good stuff, and it's Tim Sale. And, this day and age, anything Tim Sale is worth reading. So, absolutely there on page 111. All right. Oh, and of course, we ended on a ROM Epic collection, as it's there, baby, after all these years. So.
Yep, it's the 3rd in a series, collecting ROMs 34 through 47, the 2nd annual, and an issue of Marvel 2-in-1 with the Space Knight in it. It's comics that we never thought we'd see collected, but now it's happening, and it's got the Eberly seal of approval.
It does, and please put it on digital. Please, do me that favor. It's not that I don't want. It's not that I'm not interested, but it's. If you have the rights, I really hope that you wind up having the rights to put both that and Micronauts on digital and available in as many ways you could possibly have it for people to read. So that would be great. But it's great that it's at least here available in physical. So, all right, onward we go to Dynamite real quick. Dynamite gets its own catalog because everything gets its own catalog. You get a catalog. You get a catalog. Everybody gets a catalog. And to start things off here, Stephania.
It's the circle of life.
It is.
It's a wheel of fortune.
It's a leap of faith. Great. I'm taking back to my 6th grade graduation right now, where we actually sang that as a group, along with Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now of all songs, which just. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Starship, baby. Come on. But Edwin Galman is the writer and artist of this Lion King comic. As we return to the sweeping plains of Africa for a brand new series of adventures starring Mufasa and Simba. You must avenge my death, Simba. You're on page 5 because, once again, Dynamite doesn't believe in page numbers like some of the other catalogs do. So, welcome back to the world of Lion King here on page 5.
Ooh,
yes,
this screams Ian right here.
Damn Skippy, baby. Gargoyles X Fantastic Four. There was a Fantastic Four Gargoyles book that was solicited in Marvel's previews last month. So this is either the same book or the opposite end of it. This might just be the other bit of the crossover that Dynamite is doing. But yeah, Gargoyles X Fantastic Four, written by, of course, Greg Weisman and George Cambadeus on the artwork chores. And the Manhattan Clan are invited on a tour of the world-famous Baxter Building, the high-tech home of the Fantastic Four. Things quickly go from impressive to destructive when Cold Steel joins forces with the Dragon Man to unleash the terror that is Annihilus, trapping Franklin, Valeria, and Nash in the negative zone in the process. These are my favorite type of crossovers, when they don't bother to try to say why they exist in the same universe, they just do. So, yes, Gargoyles, Fantastic Four, give it to me, baby, on page 9. Absolutely. The only way it could be better is if you somehow had Keith David reading it to you.
Yep. Read you a Fantastic Four Gargoyles bedtime story.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can get that as a cameo.
Maybe.
All right. On page whatever. This is something that really interests me, because it's a character I've always liked. Peter Canon, Thunderbolt. It's the lost tribe of Charlton here, showing up. Yeah, he's the one, Peter Canon is the guy that Ozymandias of Watchmen was based on, if you didn't know. He was a Charlton character. He was in Crisis and everything. He even had his own DC series for like 12 issues in the early 90s. But his rights were on a slightly different plane from the other Charlton characters. I think he was at least partly creator-owned. He was created by a guy named Pete Morisi. And I think the rights rebounded to his estate or something. But anyway, he's been out of DC and out of the DC universe for some time. Dynamite has the rights. Kieran Gillen wrote a brief Peter Canon series a couple of years ago. And now it's Fred Van Lente's turn, with art by our friend Jonathan Lau, who's been drawing the Space Ghost series recently. Now he's going to draw a little bit of Peter Canon. He can, he must, he will.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep. Every time anybody tries to do anything with this character, I always have to jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. And Van Lente on board means it's going to be good comics. So,
yep. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. We'll call it page 13 because that's as close as we're going to get to a page number. So, Peter Canon, Thunderbolt, number 1. He is back at it. And who else is back at it? Ed Brisson doing a Panthro side story here with Dave Acosta on the artwork chores. So those of you who are fans of Panthro, and honestly, anyone who's a fan of Thundercats, you're probably also a fan of Panthro. He gets his own solo bit here on page 15. And guess what? Page 17, Vampirilla gets a Heliday 2025 special by Frank Thierry, because of course she does. And we're moving on. We mentioned the first issue of Harley Quinn X Elvira last month. This is the second issue. All previous orders were canceled, so if you did have this already ordered, make sure to reorder it this month here on page 19. Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti on the writing chores. It's Juan Sanu and Amanda Connor herself splitting up the artwork chores. Second issue of a huge crossover here between Harley Quinn and Elvira. Two characters made for each other.
Yeah, really.
And Supernatural, if the actual CW series is any indication, this book will go on for 300 issues. But Greg Pak starting up a Supernatural book last month. This is the second issue of that. Once again, taking place, I believe, in season 2 of the Supernatural series, with kind of like in between side stories for now on page 23. Yep.
Untold Tales of Supernatural.
Basically, yep. Just Dean and Sammy yelling, Dean and Sammy, back and forth to each other. All right. DuckTales number 10. Just going to mention that offhand here. Brandon Montclair writing me up some DuckTales stories. So if you want further Scrooge stories that are a little more tied to his world, then that's where you're going to find it. And then a hardcover edition of the Zootopia stories that Jeff Parker put out, along with Alessandro Rinaldi, available for everybody there on page 35. Collects the first 6 issues of that Zootopia story, both in hardcover and softcover. The softcover is cheaper. And I think that does it here for, that does it here for Dynamite. And on we go to Boom. And Boom graces us immediately with Berserker, written by Keanu Reeves. And
Well, created by him, written by Marjorie Liu of
that is true.
Monstrous.
Yes, that matters significantly more. And illustrated by Gary Brown. They got to put created by first to try to get in there. Anybody who doesn't know who Marjorie Liu is, and all the comic book people are like, hey, Marjorie Liu, cool. But Berserker, The Bleeding Tide, #1 here,
It's basically Pirate Keanu, the comic.
100%. Yes. While he's off on Broadway right now with Alex Winter, his comic book is coming out here on Boom. So can B quell the bleeding tide? You'll find that out here in Berserker, The Bleeding Tide #1 on page 2 of their catalog.
There's so many distasteful tampon jokes that could be made, but we will not be the ones to make them.
We're not going to make them. If you want to make them in the privacy of your own home, pause the recording right now, say them all, and then guess what? We're back. Hey, guys, welcome back.
Take as long as you need. We'll be here for you.
Exactly. Yep. All right. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Pink Ranger. This is Teenie Howard and Amy Jo Johnson's Pink Ranger story. Amy Jo Johnson herself, the Pink Ranger, was co-writer on this, and Danielle De Nicola and various others on the illustrations. This collects Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Return, issues 1 through 4. Actually, now that I think about it, I think Amy Jo wrote the Return solo, while Teenie Howard worked on the Power Rangers Pink, if I remember correctly. But either way, page 12 there, a whole bunch of Pink Ranger stories for you in collected form. Also love this throwback cover here. VR Troopers Power Rangers Flipbook Facsimile Edition #3 by Fabian Nicieza, illustrated by Todd Smith and various others. Wow, man. Bringing us back, to say the least, with this.
Yeah, that is really opening a time capsule.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I don't even know who originally published this.
I was just trying to think. I know a company called Hamilton published a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. I think it was the first Power Ranger comic ever put out.
Yeah, let me see, because let's see, Fabian Nicieza, Power Rangers, and see what comes up. Okay, if I look it up here, so Marvel, baby.
That actually would have been my second guess, since I think Fabian mostly worked for them in those days.
Yep. In fact, the first issue was co-written by Nicieza and Lobdell. So, go figure. So he worked on them for a couple issues at least. Good times. Yep. All right. When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee, the softcover by Gus Moreno and Jacob Rebelka, collects the first 5 issues of that ongoing there on page 19. And then we get the second volume of the Dune House Harkonnen story that Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson have been working on, with Fran Gallen on the illustrations. And of course, got to mention Smooth Criminals. Yep. They're on page 21 of 21. Collects Smooth Criminals #1 through 8. Let's head over to Dark Horse. Guess what? They have their own catalog. It may surprise you. It may surprise you, but they do. Because it's much better than trying to go through the panels catalog that Penguin Random House has, because that is a piece of shit. All right, here we go.
I look like it is, man.
Come on. Give us breakdowns. Like at least Lunar goes publisher by publisher. Don't split it up into comics and manga. Whatever. All right. Miss Truesdale and the Rise of Man by Mike Mignola, Jesse Lonergan on the artwork chores. It's more Mignola goodness. You almost every month you get something by Mignola. I just have to mention this 4-issue series here because it's classic Mignola. They're on page 2, and they know how to put their page numbers on there. So well done.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Cool artwork too to go along with it. Always love to see a Dark Horse Star Wars story. And this is Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, The Bad Batch, Rogue Agents #1. tying into the Bad Batch animated series that came out a little while ago on Disney+. Michael Morecci and Reese Hannigan are the writer and artist behind this, as the Bad Batch are back for a couple comics here. So check it out.
We're going to fight a Rancor along the way.
Yep. 4-issue series on page 6 of the Dark Horse catalog. American Caper by Dan Houser, also on its second issue here. We mentioned that last month, so do check out the second issue if you're following that on page 8.
Art by David Lapham of Stray Bullets.
And The Adventures of Lumen N, James Robinson and Phil Hester's series, reaches its finale. So there will be a collection forthcoming, and I look forward to said collection forthcoming on page 9 here, as those are two of my favorite creators. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, The Sword of Flaws, by Tim Seeley and friend of the show, Freddie E. Williams II. This is the third issue of that series, available for you here on page 11. This is a 4-issue series, so one more to go after this. All right. Minor threats here.
Yeah, I do notice that Dark Horse is taking seriously, informing us as readers and consumers how many issues each of these things is.
I appreciate that.
Far too many publishers are coy or play close to the vest as far as what's limited and what's ongoing. Dark Horse is coming right out and telling us this month, so thank you for that gesture, Dark Horse.
100% agree with that. Yep, absolutely. Speaking of which, Nemesis Forever is issue 4 of 5. Any of you Nemesis fans out there, Mark Miller and Matteo Scalera. One more issue to go there on page 14. All right, and as is the case with a lot of the others here, I will mention Bendis and Avon Oming, Powers 25, issue 4. This is going to be a 12-issue series altogether, but it's the first Powers story in a while. And Powers is now under Dark Horse. I think this is the 5th publisher, if I remember correctly, of Powers over the years. I think it started at Image, went to Marvel under the Icon imprint for a while. DC had it. Now Dark Horse has it. There might be one more in there that I'm not thinking of. So, yeah. Somebody's going to publish a Powers book of some kind, and now it's Dark Horse's turn. So, issue 4 there on page 19. And Gerard Way and Gabriel Ba back for the Umbrella Academy Plan B. This is issue 4 of 6 there, once again on page 19. I Am Their Silence. Sounds interesting to me. Eve's a brilliant psychiatrist, but this is no simple story of a clever shrink helping a patient dissect their problems. No, this story is about Ava in the throes of a bipolar episode, navigating her own spiraling mental health as she's pulled down a scandalous rabbit hole when one of her first patients and only friends has invited her to the reading of her grandmother's living will. The Monturas are a winemaking empire revered worldwide, and their matriarch has organized a party at their villa to discuss her will and the family's future. Their dynasty is riddled with scandal, which is why the youngest heir, Penelope Monturo, invited the brilliant doctor along to help her through the drama. When Ava finds a family's current patriarch dead the night before the will reading, she finds herself catapulted into a web of intrigue and deception. Love the premise behind this. I love a murder mystery in general. I could see this becoming a movie very, very easily. Perhaps a Benoit Blanc adventure, quite frankly, but who knows? Yeah, I Am Their Silence, available for you there on page 20 by Jordi Lefebvre, and Montana Kane is the translator of this story. So page 20 for that.
Speaking of collections that are forthcoming, on page 23, clearly marked so, the trade of Los Monstros, another James Robinson project come out through Dark Horse with art by Jesus Marino. It's a hard-boiled 1950s detective story in a California city populated entirely by movie monsters. I mean, that's enough said, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Our POV PI character is a werewolf named Perry. And yeah, I wanted to read by this in single issues. I think I missed a couple along the way, so here's a trade for $20.
There you go. Yep. Well done, and yep, I think well worth it. So yeah, page 23 for some Werewolf James Robinson action. And Prodigy by Mark Miller and Raphael Albuquerque. Love me some Albuquerque art. Also available in library edition there. So $79.99 for the oversized hardcover, 480 pages on page 24. Tramps of the Apocalypse. Love that name. Alice Darrow and Hugo Blanc. That collects the 3-issue Tramps of the Apocalypse series there on page 26. And let's see, any manga worth? Yes, of course. Old Boy Deluxe Edition, Book 1, by Garen Tsuchiya and Nobuaki Minagishi. 10 years ago, they took him. He doesn't know who. For 10 years, he's been confined in a private prison. He doesn't know why. For 10 years, his only contact with the outside world has been a television set and the voices of his jailers. Suddenly, one day, his incarceration ends without explanation. Sedated and dumped at a park, he awakens, free to reclaim what's left of his life, and what's left is revenge. This is a new noir-inspired cover made with metallic cover foil paper and collects Old Boy volumes 1 through 4. And, the Old Boy movie is incredibly well regarded. The Spike Lee version less so, but the original Old Boy is well worth checking out, and this is the manga to go along with it here, available on page 30.
Sounds like a very deserving manga minute right there.
Yep, absolutely. All right, and that concludes Dark Horse. So I believe on we go to the Lunar Catalog, and we'll point out a couple things there, and then we'll go ahead and end this sucker up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep, and a lot of the Lunar Catalog will be catalogs we've already seen.
Exactly. Yep, because that's the way they do. Very, very happy with this cover, and I can't wait to talk about that when we get to it. The Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate Complete Works, which is a solicitation that makes me very, very happy for many reasons.
Well, look at that. It is in alphabetical order. For some reason, it didn't feel like it when I was going through earlier. But
because it's huge. That's why. It's huge. It's 579 pages. Yep. They also don't really delineate that well. So, you'll just get, all of a sudden, it'll just be pages for another publisher rather than it, being like, this is the Abrams portion. This is the Ahoy portion, So.
You need some better headings.
Yeah, I'll throw out there on page 4, Superman, the art and making of the film. This is the new Superman, I will point out. Triumphant theatrical return, as you all well know. Now available on HBO Max for any of you who don't want to pay the price of digital. So if you already have a Max subscription, you can watch Superman whenever you want, and they have a couple of extra features that they threw in there, which are small, 5-minute making ofs and stuff like that, which are pretty cool. But this is the art and making of the film here in book form. If you want to flip through and see some behind-the-scenes artwork, it is there for you there on page 4 of the Lunar Catalog. All right. Making nonfiction comics. Back in the day, Chris Naudis and I had a blog called nonfictioncomics.net. It is long since defunct because we lost the URL. And we basically, in turn, lost the stuff that we published, but I think it might still be on the Wayback Machine if you want to take a look at the archive of it. But I've always been fascinated with nonfiction comics because it's a genre that I don't feel like gets nearly as much love as the fiction stuff at times. But this is the definitive guide to writing, drawing, and publishing nonfiction comics from award-winning creators Shay Merck and Larry Harris. So if you're interested in knowing the craft and want to make it yourself, or if you just want to know how it works, it's available there for you there out of Abrams on page 8. So very interested and glad that exists. Meanwhile, Globetrotters, Nellie Bly and Elizabeth Bislin's world tour. In the 1800s, the newspaper is king, and female journalists are few and far between. I had to slip into the voice. Intrepid reporters Nellie Bly and Elizabeth Bislin are pitted against the clock and each other in a madcap publicity stunt that the whole world is watching. Read all about one of their first viral news stories reported on and starring 2 fearless female journalists in the race of their careers. Hey, come on. it asked for it, and I gave it.
Yeah.
And it's a story I don't really know enough about, to be honest. So,
Well, Nellie Bly's an interesting figure.
mm-hmm.
My parents' golden retriever is named in part after Nellie Bly.
There you go.
You ask Mom, she's named after Nellie Bly. You ask Dad, she's named after Roy Rogers' old Jeep.
Potato. What can you do? Yeah. Well, I there used to be a miniature golf course / tiny ass amusement park near Coney Island in Brooklyn called Nellie Bly that we would go to. And I mostly went there for the miniature golf because it was a decent miniature golf course. So that's the most Nellie Bly that I know outside of knowing who Nellie Bly is. And I'd like to know more about Nellie Bly, and this is a great way to learn it. So
sure, you could do worse than to read a graphic novel about her.
Absolutely. Page 9 for that. All right. I think that takes us out of it.
Somebody's making a Danny Phantom graphic novel. A couple of Danny Phantom graphic novels in this day and age.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Go figure. Huh. All right. Yeah. Danny Phantom lives. Nickelodeon's Danny Phantom. Yep.
Beware the box ghost.
Yeah, they got a bunch of different Danny Phantom stuff taking place on page 14 and 15 here of the Abrams catalog. Also, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And the page before that was some The Most Amazing Saturday Morning Rubbish Club, which just is a name that makes me very happy. Bill Tucky and Francisco de la Mora behind that there on page 13. So, yeah, Abrams putting out some good stuff this month. On we go to our friends at Ahoy.
Yep, they've got a new series here called Death Dog, which is about, it's a dystopian future in which robotic security dogs are employed at various retailers. And a 13-year-old kid who is mistakenly accused of shoplifting is chased by one of these dogs, but then it shorts out and it becomes his loyal pet.
Nice.
It's a boy and his dog, sort of. Written by Bryce Ingman, penciled by Alan Robinson.
Available there on page 20 of the catalog. Get some preview pages along with it, and yeah, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. Also, something that sounds like it could have been a Saturday morning cartoon, quite frankly, or an Adult Swim show.
More likely that, yeah. I don't think Death Dog would play too well on Saturday mornings.
No. It would be Destructo Dog or something like that on Saturday morning cartoons. They would change it to, they would change the death. That's all they would do. Yeah. Toxic Avenger Team Up gets a trade paperback, and he teamed up with a bunch of different stuff, including Jamal Weigel's Wrong Earth. So if you're looking for team ups for everyone from Jesus to the Wrong Earth crew,
to the Jersey Devil,
to the Jersey Devil, Toxie's got you covered. And Mark Russell, Matt Boers, and others. Interior art by Richard Pace, Ben Clarkson, Jamal himself, and others as well. That's all there for you there on page 24. Toxic Avenger Team Up. And there's also the previously offered Toxic Avenger trade paperback as well there on page 25.
All right, now we got some Archie stuff. A new Josie and the Pussycats annual, written and drawn by Dan Parent, with additional art by Bob Smith, Glenn Whitmore, Jack Morelli, his letterer, I assume. And yeah, it's a Josie and the Pussycats comic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any Josie fans, you get what you wanted. It's back. But what I also appreciate on the next page, page 28, a full facsimile of the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch comic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was a giant size comic when it was first published, 48 pages.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You get it all, ads and all, there on page 28. All right. Scroll through. I'm not going to do every single publisher, obviously, because if we do, then we will be here forever and a day. But John Wick's Derek Kolstad is adapting Ordained into a film. So I just want to mention here real quick this Ordained comic book that AWA is putting out. Looking here to find the actual solicit for it.
A little further down.
There we go. How about that? Robert Vendetti, Trevor Hairsine. I mean, come on, that's pedigree. On page 38.
Dave Stewart's a damn good colorist. He's
absolutely
agreed as well.
100%.
It is the story of a priest, used to be a man of action, who's found God and forsworn violence, but then one day he takes the dying confession of the leader of the Irish Mafia, except that the gang lord recovers miraculously the next morning, wants to go right back to business as usual, and decrees that the priest who took his confession knows too much, having heard confessions of where all the bodies are buried, and says that the priest must kill the priest. That's the tagline for this whole thing. So Father Roy must, re-embrace violence to a certain extent to keep himself alive and to neutralize the threat that this Irish mobster poses while he holds dear. But one thing he will not do is kill.
Yep. I love that it says soon to be a major motion picture starring an A-list Oscar nominee. They won't say who, so I guess the contract's not signed. But I'm trying to think of who it could possibly be, because like we've had Bob Odenkirk as a fighter, we've had Keanu Reeves. Like I'm trying to think, like what, Bryan Cranston maybe, like.
I can see that actually.
Yeah, like I'm sure we'll find out soon enough who the hell this man is. But I could also possibly see maybe Colin Farrell in the role of Ordained and make that work as well, because I would want to see him throw punches in the cloth. I think that would work very well, especially if he uses his actual accent.
Royston Craig, it sounds Irish enough.
Yep, definitely. So page 38 for that, and movie coming starring a person at some point in the future.
Possibly several people.
Yeah, who knows? They might have more than one person in the movie. You never know. You really never know with this stuff. All right. Planet Death by Derek Kolstad and Robert Venditti. This
again, so it's basically the same creative forces behind Ordained.
Yeah, I know. They're going out there. This is the second issue of Planet Death, and it really just like caught me for the cover more than anything else. But it's a cool space epic. So if you want to check out the second issue of that, hopefully you also read the first issue. But so it goes there on page 53. All right, we're gonna scroll down a little bit more, get out of this area, and find ourselves another publisher, which may take a while because they have a lot of pages. All right.
There's a lot of bad ideas out this month.
Yes, there are. Jeez, wow. And most of them are by Venditti, so he must have stake in he must have stake in this company, I swear.
If he didn't at first, he does by now.
And we go to Black Mask. All right, let's see. Black Mask, here we get Calexit, Volume 2, Battle of the Universal City by Matteo Pizzola, and C. Granda collects the first 3 issues of that second Calexit story.
Yep. Concept there is, what if California seceded from the Union and formed its own nation?
That could never happen. No, that's just crazy talk right there.
It was a republic once, it can be again.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. This next page here, page 98, actually really has my interest. Faster by Jesse Lonergan. Who truly knows what a premier racer is thinking while behind the wheel? We can only imagine the lives that play out on the speedway. Join the motley cast of racers and Jesse Lonergan's Faster, a visually engrossing display of racing and the people who can't help but race. Can perpetual runner-up Molly Vox finally pull ahead of Kona DeMille, the 5-time world champion? Find out in Faster. Good old racing comic. Nothing wrong with that. Page 98. All right, on we go to Clover Press.
They've got a 12th volume collecting Milton Caniff's Terry and the Pirates, this time strips from 1946, as Terry's South Seas adventures finally intersect with a world at war, the year after the war ended.
Indeed, yep. Solicited for December 3rd, 2025 release, and that is the Library of American Comics seal of approval right there on page 102. And now I get to skip through all of DC because I did that.
Fast forward.
Yep. Oh yeah, I remember that. Remember that? Hey. Oh my God.
Yep, we've been all through this.
I part of me does wish that they would put out a version of this that just didn't have any of the other stuff that they have already put out into separate. But oh well. Yep, Dynamite as well, but luckily that's fewer pages, so that's easy enough to skip. Eventually we're gonna get the Titan and it's gonna be the same damn thing all over again. All right, here we go. Okay. You did that already too, so blah, blah, blah. All right. We can skip forward even a little bit more here because that's unnecessary. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Zor Saves Christmas out of Keen Spot by Rob Pochik and Michael Adams. I'm bringing this up because Keen Spot is actually publishing comics. Go figure. Keen Spot was one of the early webcomic creators back in the day. And they're actually making comics these days. And this was originally in the Free Comic Book Day 2025 Keen Spot Toy Box special. As little Zoe Richardson tends to lose things, and her trip to meet Santa is no different. She's lost her ticket to see him, but have no fear. Zoe's magical friend, made from her teardrops, Zor, is back and ready for another wonderful adventure to save the holiday. This epic all-ages Christmas tale takes place inside a bustling shopping mall and stars the littlest hero of them all, Zor. So, Zor Saves Christmas on page 226. On we go to Fantagraphics. And Uncle Scrooge, Flintheart Glomgold, Sinister Secret, Part 2. Love me some Glomgold.
Jeez. Even Fantagraphics has resorted to stunt numbering here.
Yeah, I know.
Scrooge number 2, Legacy number 462.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yep. But hey, it's Uncle Scrooge and it's Glomgold. I'm good, but yes, seriously, come on, guys. Let's be real. You're Fantagraphics. We also get the Lost Marvels number 3, Savage Tales of the 1980s by Archie Goodwin, Michael Golden, John Severin, John Buscema, and more.
Yep, one of those creator-centric anthologies that Marvel cranked out in the 80s.
Yep.
Featuring work by Archie Goodwin, Michael Golden, John Severin, John Buscema, et al.
Indeed. So check that out for some hidden gems on page 223 of the catalog.
We got to go back up for a second there.
Yes, indeed.
One more.
There you go.
For some truly batshit crazy Golden Age comics. You can't do better than the works of Fletcher Hanks, creator of Stardust the Super Wizard and Phantoma the Jungle Girl.
Turn loose our death rays and kill them all. The complete works of Fletcher Hanks.
That's a great title. His work was truly bizarre, stream of consciousness in the wildest and weirdest ways.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, and this is apparently his complete works. Mm-hmm. No better publisher than Fantagraphics to bring this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, eager reader.
All of his previously published material and is the most complete collection of his works ever put to print. So, yep. Complete works of Fletcher Hanks available on page 234. It cray. It very cray.
Mm-hmm.
And Lovers and Haters, a Love and Rockets book by Gilbert Hernandez. In the next chapter of the Polymer Saga, actress Fritz contends with a sex cult, mad scientist, and her inner demons. And that's just a start. So.
Yep, I know there's lots of fans of Los Bros out there, so.
Yep. Do check that out there on page 238. All right. And as we get further along, guess what? I get to skip image because we did all that too. So. At least we know it's in alphabetical order, so yeah. They're proving that. All right, you know what? Maybe I can just straight up just skip manually here. There we go. I'm almost there. Okay.
All right, and we're out.
Haha! We did it. All right.
We've entered the Mad Cave.
We have, indeed. Endless Night gets a trade paperback. Mark London and Tom Derenick. So Endless Night in full collection there. Get some nice Derenick artwork to soothe your soul. Velveteen, the elite rogue assassin hell-bent on revenge. One of the main characters in this. Page 336.
Here is a comic that I will be buying. It's called Circus Maximus, a 5-issue miniseries written by Mark Sable, art by Giorgio Pontrelli, fitting that it's an Italian artist because this is basically a heist story set in ancient Rome.
Ooh, nice.
Circus Maximus.
Very cool. Like the style of the artwork as well to go along with it.
Oh, and there's a Francesco Francavilla alternate cover.
Go figure.
Wonderful.
Page 338, and the preview pages are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. What else is gorgeous is a Peter Milligan comic. Liquidator, number 1 of 5. Peter Milligan on the artwork, on the writing chores, and Piotr Kowalski on the artwork. When Aubrey Street, she's not a street, arrives in 1891 looking for a feminist masterpiece that won't be published for almost 100 years. She worries that 1981 might be rejecting her. Aubrey is a liquidator. Her job is to fix glitches in time. She just wishes she could fix the glitches in her life. In another part of Gilded Age New York, John Hawksmoor plans to kill a servant girl whose life has been turned upside down by the book she found in her employer's library. Somehow, all the lives are connected. They just don't know it yet. Tipsy-turvy, timey-wimey action here. Peter Milligan giving us what we want, basically. 5-issue mini here on page 340. And ooh, that artwork. Damn. Lovingly rendered.
Guess that's Piotr Kowalski for you.
Yes, indeed. Way into that. Good stuff. All right. Let's get out of Mad Cave and onward we go. We're in...
We're still in Mad Cave, but by all means...
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, never mind. The style of the solicitation changed, and I was like, oh, okay, but no, it's still Mad Cave. Issue 3 of 8 of Mark Russell's Racer X miniseries. I missed mentioning this in other previews episodes, so just to mention that there's an 8-issue Racer X miniseries written by Mark Russell. That's really all you need to know.
It does my heart good to know that such a thing exists in the world.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Jeremy Adams is on his 13th issue of Flash Gordon. So that series is running strong, and the Gatchaman ongoing as well by Sam Humphries still rolling up to issue 14. Dick Tracy on issue 13. So Mad Cave putting out a lot of good stuff, and someday we'll be out of there. There we go. Okay, good. Now we're actually out of there.
And this is Massive.
Yes, Massive brings us the collected edition of something I mentioned in the past, Detective Kaiju. Once again, something directly for Raph. But Michael Calero and Kit Wallace bring us this 4-issue mini. From the pages of fan favorite series Quested comes a noir comic of epic proportion featuring a kaiju detective. Yes, a literal detective kaiju. Amazing.
Film noir, kaiju detective, and it's all taking place in kind of a Dungeons and Dragons, cobblestone streeted.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Did you think the big bad wolf being a detective was weird enough? Well, here's a kaiju. So enough said on that. Page 369. Moving on, as a lot of that is ongoing or things that I am skipping. And we're into Massive Indies, which is something that I'm glad that Massive is doing, because a lot of the indies that were not able to fully make their way into stuff like Lunar are actually basically sub-distributing through Massive, who has their contract with Lunar. So it's a good way to get smaller books into the hands of the masses.
Yeah, formed a little protective collective there for some of these smaller outfits.
Yep. Like Death's Immortal Hunter, for example. Death's Immortal Hunter is written by K.I. Miller with art by Dean Kotz, Dave Mims, and Camille Ponce. Part Highlander, part Constantine, part Hellboy. Death's Immortal Hunter follows the hunter on his quest to rid humanity of the demons he himself unleashed. He can never rest, never stop, never relent until the job is done. That is the life of Death's Immortal Hunter on page 402. Artwork on the subsequent pages is very Sienkiewicz.
Yes, it is.
Yep. And of course, Deadhead, not Death's Head, not Deadhead one word, Deadhead, Dead Space Head. For first issue of this, AC Medina and Gabrielle Fonseca bring this. It's John Wick meets Jason Voorhees in this off-the-wall slasher fest. I am so in. Action-packed, gore-soaked love letter to classic horror movie characters follow along as Deadhead's thirst for revenge leads him to carve his way through dozens of colorful slashers to the one and only Mauler Mason, a legendary killer who's murdered thousands.
Okay, so Deadhead is a slasher who kills other slashers.
Exactly, he's a slasher. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, we can all just kind of enjoy the ultraviolence, knowing that everybody who gets hacked up probably deserves it.
Oh yeah, and I love the design on Deadhead himself, like that skull. It reminds me of It's the Mr. Skullhead show, like
Starring in Mr. Skullhead. Yep.
So page 408 for that. Some preview pages in the next couple of pages after that, and
it's time for another good idea, dead idea.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit more because I want to find that damn Marvel vs. Capcom book, and I think I'm getting close to it. So let's see if I can find it. If I find any cool things along the way, I will mention it, but. Let's see. Don't need to mention Biker Mice from Mars because we never do. Benjamin hardcover by Ben H. Winters and Leo Max. In one LA motel room, a cosmic quest is about to begin. More than just a writer, more than just a sci-fi fiction icon, Benjamin J. Karp was a cultural revolutionary. Over the course of 44 novels and hundreds of short stories, including the counterculture classic, The Man They Couldn't Erase, Karp pushed the boundaries of literary respectability for the sci-fi genre and his readers' perceptions of reality himself, until decades of amphetamine abuse in Southern California excess finally ended a mind-bending career that always just escaped mainstream success. He died in 1982. Until 2025... when Benjamin J. Karp awakens alive in a burned-out motel on the fringes of Los Angeles. He remembers dying. He knows he shouldn't exist. Is he a dream, a robot, a ghost, a clone, a simulation? In his own time, Karp pondered all these scenarios through his fiction, and now, as he treks from Studio City to Venice Beach and onward, into the paranoid sprawl of 21st century Los Angeles, he will be called to investigate his greatest mystery yet, himself. Boom! Damn, that sounds cool.
That copy sells this project very well.
Oh, absolutely. Wow, man. Okay. I'm down. I am absolutely down. Ben H. Winters somehow created a character named Benjamin J. Karp. I think I can guess where his inspiration was. Probably himself. but either way, yeah. Leo Max artwork on this. Yeah, I'm very, very, very interested in what the hell this is going to be. Like, also another thing I could easily being like a TV series or something like that. Just wow.
Yeah. Like a Lynch TV series.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Page 437 for that copy right there.
There was another thing from Oni several pages further back that I'd wanted to shout out.
Sure, go right ahead.
This is something that I would have liked to ask Raph about, actually.
Okay.
We're just about a little further. Yep, this is it.
All right. Here we go. Crownsville?
Yeah. Crownsville is the title. It's written by Rodney Barnes, with art by Elia Bonetti, and it has its basis in actual fact. It's based on an infamous mental hospital in Maryland, which was racially segregated. It was for black patients only, and the conditions there were infamously bad. And it's being converted here. It's being used as the basis for a horror story. The past is a ghost that will devour you whole, is the tagline. Issue number 1 of 5, Crownsville, and it exists in Maryland. And since Raph lived in Maryland for a time,
Sure. Yeah.
just outside Annapolis, it says here. I'm wondering if maybe he had ever heard of it.
It's a possibility. I'll broach it to him and see if he has any remembrance of it in any way. But yeah, cool setting for that sort of story, and 100% returnable on this one. So give it a shot at your local shop if you're listening to this and you own a shop, or order it and give it a go. But yeah, Rodney Barnes and Elia Bonetti, Crownsville, issue 1 of 5. Yeah. Cool concept. I'll pass it along the ref. We also got a Rick and Morty Oni Compact Comics edition. Ain't nothing to frick with. See, even Oni can put Rick and Morty in a small package. That's what she said. And Rick and Morty issue 6, 56 through 60. Rick and Morty presents Rick in a Box number 1, and Rick and Morty Me Seeks Look at Me PI number 1 through 4.
And do.
For $9.99, 256 pages. That's what I like to see. Page 441 for that. All right.
Paper cuts, and there was a Smurf holiday special.
Yes, there was. Go right ahead, sir.
Yep, and it's a Smurfs holiday special. And when I said earlier there was one holiday comic in this catalog that I was most likely to buy, this was the one.
Okay.
Thing is, I'm not sure I don't already own it, so I'm going to have to look into that before I put it into my DCBS cart.
Well, I mean, there's only one way to find out, right? Clearly, you have a easy. No, I mean, either way. Either buy it or don't. You'll be fine. It's a Smurfs.
It's a binary. Yep, but it's like most Paper Cuts volumes. It's available either in hardcover or softcover, and the softcover is only $8.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like there's any losing in this situation.
Not at all.
It appears to be written and drawn by the Smurfs creator Pio. Assuming that all Smurfs content, assuming this isn't a situation where all Smurfs content is released under his name, whether he had anything to do with it or not.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
But assuming that it is a Pio original, then it's probably been around for a few years.
Well, fa la 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 is the only real thing to say when in response to that. So
absolutely true.
All right, I am. Okay. It's Udon, so it's going to be all the way down. I was trying to figure out where that Marvel vs. Capcom collection actually is, and the answer is Udon. But before I get there, Disney Pixar classic graphic novel Turning Red, written by Amy Chu, who also wrote the original screenplay for it, if I remember correctly, and Emilio Urbano, Marco Forcelloni, and Andrea Greppi are the artists behind this, and it tells the story of the Turning Red Pixar movie, which was a lot of fun and came out at a time where we just needed movies to watch, and it was a damn good one at the time. So page 453 if you're interested in a graphic novel version of said story. You also have the Encanto one by Tia Orsi for you on page 455.
Which also got watched a heck of a lot around the pandemic.
Damn Skippy. Yep. And it was excellent. Oh, wow. Pan-Universal. I almost feel like this should be a thing for Chris. Fantastic Four number 51. This Man, This Monster, Pan-Dimensional 3D edition. So this is a 3D version of issue 51, one of the best Fantastic Four comics of all time. 3D-ified. on page 463. This is the shit that I would have completely missed had we not had some version of a previews catalog. So, boom, right there. Oh, wow. That's so cool. And it includes its own 3D glasses.
Of course it does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It'd be just a shame if it didn't.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Judge Dredd by Carlos Esquerra, Apex Edition. Written by John Wagner and Alan Grant. One of the great pioneers of 2000 AD was Carlos Esquerra. He co-created Judge Dredd, cementing the look of one of the most enduring characters in the history of comics. And this collection presents his work to the readers in its true size, newly scanned from the original artwork, showcasing the work of a master in all its glory. Contains 7 complete stories in color at its original format and size. It's going to be a wonder to behold. It's going to cost a heck of a lot. $148 for 128 pages, which is still not that bad, to be honest, considering the amount of effort that went into this collection. But any of you dreadheads out there, this is for you on page 467. Oh, wow. Oh, and oh my God, look at that artwork. Wow. The detail that went into that. Man. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's scroll past that. Kevin Maguire. Tanga versus the Kaiju of Cammera. Yet another one for Raph, but also a one for Shane.
Yes, I would say so, yes, because he's a big fan of Kevin Maguire's work on the Bwahaha Justice League, and this is him with a creator-owned project that he both writes and draws.
Yep. Page 478 here of the Lunar Catalog, out of Rocket Ship. Wandering space goddess Tanga receives a warm welcome on a planet with a big problem. Will she help or somehow make matters worse? Tanga versus the Kaiju of Cammera brings together for the first time the 2 stories told in DC Comics' Weird Worlds and My Greatest Adventure series. So this is previously made stuff put together in a new package. But it also means that if Kevin Maguire wants to do further Tanga stuff, now he can. So, great to see that back in print in one form or another and put together into one thing. So it's available on October 5th. And, Tanga versus the Kaiju of Cammera on page 478.
This is recommended for people who saw Zardoz in theaters.
Oh, dear God.
They need to be at least in their 50s.
I know. Yeah. Oh my God. Such good, simple Maguire artwork right there. Oh,
yeah,
gotta love it.
The art looks wonderful. It does.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. Scholastic will get a quick mention as a reminder that Babysitters Club comics make more money than most superhero stuff. So just a reminder of that and why Scholastic still exists. Page 487 and 488 has a whole bunch of Babysitter Club stuff. And then Bone Adventures, previously offered through other distributors, now available through Lunar, along with Bone More Tall Tales on page 489. The other distributors are Diamond. They're talking about Diamond. All right, we go to, let's head down to tomorrow's at this point, as we did Titan.
We done.
Titan we do. Yep, Titan we did done. So, there we go. Should be right after it. It just takes a little bit of scrolling to get there. You want to add text? No, I don't want to add text, Adobe. All right. And we're out of it, and guess what? It was right after it, so how about that?
Hooray.
Okay. For one thing, previously solicited, if you didn't pick up Remembering Dave Stevens, comic book creator number 40, they're reminding you that is available, and any of you Dave Stevens fans should definitely check it out. But this month's back issue magazine basically has your name on it, with the terror of Starro the Conqueror on page 547.
It is a great cover, all right. Yep. Let's see, covering Aliens, Predator, Alien Legion, Men in Black, Alan Moore and Alan Davis's DR and Quinch.
Yep.
And much more, featuring the work of everybody.
Oh yeah, of course. Yep. It's spacey stuff, and all the invaders basically all in one thing, but not Captain America's invaders, different invaders. So, page 547 for Back Issue Magazine number 164. It's spacey as heck. All right, and I think that's all for tomorrow's this month, although the Reed Crandall illustrator of the comics book is fascinating to me. This was previously solicited, but from the 40s to the 70s, Reed Crandall brought an illustrator's approach to comics, gaining a reputation as the artist on Golden Age heroes. Dollman, The Ray, and Blackhawk, horror and sci-fi comics for EC, Warren Publishing's Creepy, Eerie, and Blazing Combat, Thunder Agents, Flash Gordon, and more. This full-color, soft-cover history of Crandall's life and career includes never-before-seen photos, a wealth of rare and unpublished artwork, and over 8,000 words of insight into one of the true illustrators of comics. Reed Crandall, illustrator of the comics by Roger Hill, on page 549.
Yeah, a lot of other previously solicited things available again from tomorrow's.
Well, it's good. It's good that they're putting as much stuff as they are into here. Quite frankly, like they even have their Marvel comics in the early 1960s. I remember when that was solicited back in the day. Back available, an issue by issue field guide of pop culture phenomenon by Pierre Comtois on page 556. And here we are, finally. Let's go crazy. Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate Complete Works hardcover. New, updated, and upgraded hardcover edition with over 140 new pages, including stuff that was made for the new Marvel vs. Capcom collection that came out not too long ago. That collection, by the way, has sold over 1 million copies across the multiple systems. So I think there's still a demand for Marvel vs. Capcom. But there's a new Marvel fighting game called, I believe, Marvel Tokon that's going to be coming out that is not made by Capcom. It's made by a different company. That's the next fighting game to come out, but then perhaps they'll revisit Marvel vs. Capcom after that in one form or another. Either way, this includes a whole bunch of artwork from the Punisher beat 'em up from back in the day, X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. They accidentally capitalized an extra letter in Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. Marvel vs. Capcom, Capcom 2, Capcom 3, Ultimate Capcom 3, and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and the Ultimate Complete Works also includes some new artwork along with that. So if you are a Marvel vs. Capcom fan, this is an art book for you. Do check that out. Very happy to putting this together, and it, for fans of the series, you can't get better than that. So, page 559. Hope they include the comics too. That'd be cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. With some actual plot.
Yep. All right, and one more mention in Udon: Hidekaka Tenjin, Artistry of Gundam. Any of you Gundam fans, this is going to be for you. It's another art book, but it's straight up Gundam. So any of you who like your giant robots, they got you covered there on page 561. Great, and I think that is about it, unless there's anything else on the bottom here, and the answer is no. And guess what? We finished a catalog. All right.
We finished a plurality of catalogs.
Damn Skippy, and it wasn't any less or more long than Diamonds were. So, go figure on that. The one thing we're missing is more manga content. I'll have to find a way to put more manga content. Oh well, what are you gonna do? And random tchotchkes at the end. But
oh yes. Every once in a while, you just want to talk about a Sesame Street action figure.
Yep. But thank you for being along for the ride as always, Murd. It is always a pleasure, and you're gracing me with your presence is just the best.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure on my end as well, Ian. Happy to keep you company on the long march.
Damn right. And I just saw that movie, The Long Walk, and it depressed the hell out of me. All right. Anywho, so this is the previews for the month. And like I said, Diamond doesn't need to put out a previews for us to put out a previews. We're going to keep it going, and we love doing it. And I hope you guys enjoy it just as much as we do every single month. With that, the finish. Email address for Comic Timing is comictiming@gmail.com. Facebook.com/Comic Timing is where you can find the Comic Timing fan group, which is a great place for you to communicate with us and post comic-related goodness. So do make your way over there. You can find video versions of the show over at youtube.com/@Comic Timing Podcast. That's also where you can find Raph's Comic Corner. He's been putting out shorts for the past couple of months now, and they've been doing some great numbers for us and getting more people there. We are one short of 200 subscribers on the YouTube channel, so if you haven't subscribed, do it. Be number 200. I will thank you very much for doing so. We are also on Instagram as Comic Timing Podcast. We're on Threads as Comic Timing Podcast, and we're on Blue Sky as Comic Timing. And I'm I_am_sci-fi everywhere you can find me. I am sci-fi without the underscores on Blue Sky because they still don't support underscores. Get on that. Anyway, for Murd, for me, I'm Ian Levacy, reminding everybody out there that there's always time for comics. Oh, good. Not one comic book where Santa was being destroyed or anything like that. No horror Santa books for Christmas. Maybe next month.
Oh, yeah.